today.
New evidence uncovered by the BBC casting further doubt on the Greek Coast Guard's version of events surrounding last month's migrant boat sinking in which 600 people died. A number of people who were on board, though, are now speaking out about that disaster.
In Athens, we met two survivors who alleged in detail how Greek officials caused their boat to capsize in a disastrous attempt to tow it. They claimed they were told to shut up when they tried to speak out, and instead asked to implicate 9 Egyptians who'd been arrested on people smuggling charges. We've also seen court documents that show that in initial interviews recorded by the Coast Guard, 5 other survivors did not mention a rope, but that they later told a judge there had been a failed attempt to tow their boat.
BBC correspondent Nick Beek. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. The former Mozambique finance minister Manuel Chang has been extradited to the U.S. facing a fraud and corruption trial over $2 billion scandal involving fraudulent government loans. Chang has been held, or had been held, in a South African prison since 2018. Burger King Thailand knows how to make a cheeseburger.
The fast food chain is introducing a new entree called the Real Cheeseburger, which will feature 20 slices of American cheese inside a sesame seed bun. Evidently, adding cheese to food items is a popular trend in Thailand. No word on whether the burger will be on sale in the U.S. Tasha Stevens reporting.
On Wall Street, just after the opening bell, right now the Dow is up 48 points. The S&P 500 ahead 13, and over on the tech side right now, the NASDAQ up more than 100 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. Let's have a listen. What does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday.
Yes.
Does feel a little better to say Thursday.
It really does.
Because you're like, ooh, weekend starts tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or the end of the weekend. The end of the week,
right.
Beginning of the week starts tomorrow.
We were at the mountaintop yesterday.
Yeah.
Now we're just sliding on down.
Now we're just slaloming down.
Slip sliding away.
To the bottom of the hill.
That's right.
I like to use winter ski references because it's 108 or 110 every day, and maybe that'll give us a little...
112 degrees yesterday.
Yeah, we were... Even everyone in the rest of the state were like, dang, it's hot in Roswell. Like, everyone's pointing it out. It's like, oh, yeah, it's warm here, but dang, look at Roswell. It's like...
Hey, watch Roswell melt.
It's just going to burst into flames any minute now. That's what it kind of felt like. But allegedly we're going to be 4 degrees cooler today, my wife said. She goes, yeah,
nice.
Today we're going to be 4 degrees cooler. I'm like, sweet. Although I'm not going to lie, the clouding of yesterday, no rain that I saw.
That did not help at all. Well, the only way that helped was that it blocked out the sun because it
made it a little less direct.
Ridiculously, like the air was hot.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like it was burning into your soul like when the sun was out.
We were sent a picture a couple days ago that was like the sun will enter your mouth and exit out your butt today.
Yeah. That's it wasn't that bad, but just keep hunkering down because it's. I was looking at the weather, and next week it's going to rest this week. Next week we're 1 hot something.
And Please think of our dehomed population. If you see somebody on the streets, get them a bottle of water or something.
I imagine Homeless Coalition's probably been out and about.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they could definitely use resources, things like that. They always could.
Absolutely.
But particularly during
extreme hot and extreme cold
weather conditions
is when you got to feel the worst for the people who are out there struggling.
People die in these weather conditions. When it's extreme hot or extreme cold, the body can only take so much of the elements. Even the most stalwart of individual that's good and outdoorsy and camping it's going to be only do so much. So
don't push yourselves,
help people. But you yourselves keep your, and I mentioned yesterday all the blood pressure medicine folks, because they're usually more heat sensitive. That's just the nature of blood pressure medicines. Keep an eye on those folks too, because they're going to try to push through things because they don't want to pretend that and then they're going to just plop down on the ground on you. So be careful.
Yes. Thanks of our dehomed population.
Oh,
yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Because now I feel bad about what I'm going to do next. Because what you need to do is stay hydrated, and that doesn't just mean water, which water is very important. This is the lifeblood of our system. You need to make sure to keep your electrolytes up.
That's true.
Very, very important to keep your electrolytes up. Hey, young Roy, can I borrow you for a second?
You're going to do it on the
dun, 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 dun. No, he asked yesterday. He's like, you want me to replace him? I'm like, no. Just understand that you work in radio now. I'm going to make this a bit.
Right.
So yesterday I had a Powerade. I brought a Powerade in. Actually, fun. I guess I'll mention it. Over at Albertsons, they're on sale right now, so I stocked up. And right. And so I brought one to work, and he's not coming back in, or not going to come in. But I thought it was crazy because I thought I left it in my car. I went all the way down to the car, wasn't there. Checked my office. I tend to leave things in my office sometimes. Looked around there, wasn't there. I swear I had a Powerade. That thing grew legs. Young Roy. And now, understandably, he had a Powerade here last week, so it could have been his. It wasn't, but it could have been.
Right. Mistaken Powerade.
But all's well. It was 69 cents, honestly, so no worries.
Oh, good. He did look a little more hydrated.
He did. I could see in his skin. There's a certain glow. There's a certain glow to it. A snap. When you pinch, it snaps back.
Well, I imagine drinking those energy drinks are probably a bad idea during this.
Yeah, I can't imagine you're getting a lot of hydration out of a Red Bull or a.
I mean, a regular Gatorade or Powerade that's got electrolytes.
God knows you're not getting it out of a Prime.
Yeah, I might want to stay away. Those things, it might just be like the volcano and watch your head go pop off there. So do you feel
hydrated?
Hydrated?
Well, no, actually, like what does electrolytes even do to you?
Well, they do. That's not what plants crave.
It's what plants crave.
Okay, so if you look at the side,
I know they hydrate you, but like, what if you have no water in your system?
Well, you need water.
You need water. Yeah,
electrolytes replace some of the salt.
The salts, because when you sweat, you're not just sweating out water. You're sweating out salts. You're sweating out your sodium, potassium. Believe it or not, the body has a certain amount of chloride in it. And you're losing that. Magnesium is another essential electrolyte. Potassium is one.
Calcium.
You just say potassium.
No, potassium. So if you look at the side of like a bottle like a Gatorade or Powerade, whatever, it'll show you the amounts of sodium it has in it, the amounts of chloride and all that. And it's sort of to replenish the salts that you lose through a lot of sweating.
And it's got what plants crave.
It does have what plants crave.
Yeah, I was gonna get you one this this morning.
I literally went and bought 6 yesterday, so I'm good.
Ooh, he's like bragging now. I got 6. What's up?
I'm holding down 6 Powerade at 69 cents money.
He's all flexing now.
Well, I drink the free work water.
It's the principle of the thing.
Yeah, I remember the days where I labeled everything in the fridge. Nacho water, nacho this. I show that.
Well, my act, because he didn't answer first. My act of rebellion was I pulled the bullet.
Yeah.
And I had it in my office, and then he answered, and I felt bad. So I didn't put it back. But the thing is, that plug in there, it's like stupid. So I had to move the microwave and like force the plug in. So yeah, I struggled on your behalf, Roy.
You know how A&E has A&E has shows now, and I don't know if they still, but they've capitalized on all of the road rage / neighborhood rage / incidents. And so they have like one show called Neighborhood Wars, and it's really just a video of neighbors fighting each other.
Just doorbell camera footage.
Yeah. And then there's one of like road rage or people. I think we need kitchen rage show. It is just you two
work kitchen rage.
You two doing passive aggressive things to each other.
Office kitchen rage
on A&E. right.
I get enough of that at home.
Home hazing should never happen. That's your safe space.
Especially if you live alone.
Right?
No, I don't live alone.
I know. Just kidding. Let me give you the rundown for, we're going to replay some interviews here today, and we probably need to get them going. Roy's like, yeah, let's get the interviews going. I'm going to go get a Powerade.
And please change my bottom third, please.
I forgot to take my ramen home. I was like, man, I had a hankering. And I was kind of upset because I was like, I could actually go for some ramen right now.
Spot right there, wouldn't it?
So I'm going to take that with me at lunch today. Nice. But Robert Sherman with the Walker Aviation Museum joined us early in the week. Normally he's here in the 7 o'clock hour, but he was in because the 4th was his normal day, and we weren't doing a show on the 4th. So Robert joined us in the 9 o'clock hour the other day, so we're going to play that for you here in just a minute. Next hour, we're going to have our interview we had with the folks from Leadership Roswell, Rick Kraft and Father Warwick. I always mess his name up.
Warwick, I believe.
Warwick, yes. Great conversation there. Of course, they're signing up for the next class. If you're like, what is that? Well, tune in to 8:15. We'll tell you all about that. But the deadline's coming up the end of July here. So, and then Joan Bouet joined us from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women yesterday to talk about their next meeting, which is next Wednesday at the Convention Center. And so we'll play that for you. They're going, because it's summery, if you want to know, and they do food for that meeting, cold cuts and salads.
Yeah, it makes sense.
More of a summer-like, picnicky kind of thing. But anyway.
Lukewarm lunch meats.
Yes.
A particular favorite of mine.
It doesn't have the same ring as cold cuts,
It sure doesn't. That's why I went with cold cuts and not lukewarm lunch meats. I got a question real quick. What is a luncheon loaf?
Well, I've said on this program many a time, I do not eat meats with the word loaf at the end. Basically, it's no different than P&P loaf or any of these other loaves.
Well, because like olive loaf, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the luncheon loaf has like a cocktail of things like pimentos and...
Okay, so it's just all the different things.
Yeah.
It's a party platter of ingredients inside of your meats.
It's a series of things no one really wants that they shove right into the meat.
Now, have you ever entertained the idea of trying a loaf meat?
I have. I worked in a deli.
I was going to say, you were in the Army. You've put some nonsense in your...
Air Force.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Air Force. Yeah, how dare you, sir. You've put some nonsense in your body, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. I'm a man. I put nonsense in my bed.
So what makes you stop at loaf?
I just worked in that deli, and after seeing meat being pressed together, just all the things you see meat being done to it.
Yeah.
I just like the loaves. I'm like, I can get real, other real processed meat.
There's so many other ways to get this into my body. Suppositories, in fact.
Now, full back. I love like Braunschweig, liverwurst, those. Okay. But anything that's like loaf or souse or head cheese, I am completely out on.
I will say, when they call it pate, it makes me feel a lot better about myself.
But bologna, I'm all in on. Love bologna. It's just the P&P loaf, the olive loaf. I even saw mac and cheese loaf.
That's where I draw the line, sir. That's revolting sounding.
I feel like we need to reserve the word loaf for bread.
You enjoy a nice loaf of meat with your loaf of bread? They go together. Although you don't have enough loaved meat slices.
It's no different than a loose meat sandwich is delicious, but I don't want to eat something called a loose meat sandwich.
That's understandable.
It is what it is.
If you have many different loaves, are they loaves at that point?
I think so. If you have more than one loaf. So
yeah, if you're enjoying a loaf of bread with a loaf of meat, you're enjoying loaves.
Well, I don't loaf it.
And now that word has lost all meaning.
Yeah, now I don't loaf it.
I even like it.
All right, time to play some interviews. But first, let's get you into your weather, and then we'll take a quick break, and then we're going to play our interview with Robert Sherman from the Walker Aviation Museum. So next time I talk to you, you'll hear the interview. So that'll be coming up here in about 2.5 minutes.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and hot today. Our afternoon highs between 105 and 110. We do have a slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm. Overnight will be cloudy, mid-70s, and then between 105 and 108 for the highs on Friday, and we will get sunshine. Low 100s for the high on Saturday, and sunny on Sunday, and about 100. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Get your summer grilling on with delicious, homegrown beef from Runyon Cattle Beef. Get top choice grade A meat in whole, halves, or quarters delivered to your home freezer and experience the difference between store-bought and 100% locally grown Runyon Cattle Beef. Need seasoning? No problem. Runyon Cattle Beef's very own red meat seasoning and cactus salt are included with all beef orders. For pricing, orders, or more information, call Lisa Runyon at 575-760-5655 today.
Most of the problems that people have with plants comes down to basic farm management. That means knowing what to plant and when to plant it. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Planting at the wrong time usually leads to disappointment and heartache, sort of like your first love. But planting at the right moment puts Mother Nature on your side, and that makes growing things easier and a whole lot more fun. So before you plant anything, come to see us at Roswell Seed, or just give it a try and hope for the best. It gives me a chance to say, I told you so.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Yup, it's back to school season again, and Roswell Honda wants to get you geared up with the 6th annual Roswell Honda Back to School Blowout. Now through July 28th, stop by Roswell Honda and get your kids registered to receive a backpack chock full of supplies absolutely free. Then on July 29th, join Roswell Honda from 10 to 1 for the Back to School Bash with lots of free food and fun stuff for the whole family. While you're there, register to win a brand new office chair, a desk, and even an HP laptop. Register now for the Back to School Blowout at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The catfish has over 27,000 taste buds. Do you think they prefer fried or blackened? Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us in studio this morning,
Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, slightly later than we normally used to seeing him, but Robert Sherman with the Walker Aviation Museum back with us. Morning, sir. How you doing today?
Good. I got to sleep in. I think he feels sorry for me because I'm that old guy. We'll just let him sleep in a couple hours.
Well, now you probably have to book it from here to the museum afterwards, don't you? Because about time you're done here.
Well, actually, we got
Is Ted there?
Ted's out there today.
Ted's holding down the fort.
But
today,
I got to take my motorcycle into Champion and have them fix the struts, and then I've got to run out to the airport commission meeting at 1:30.
Ah, okay. So bike first, and then going out to the next meeting.
Yeah, let them work on that. So anyway,
but for folks not familiar, or if you're just because maybe you don't tune in at 7 in the morning, sometimes Robert joins us once a month, and we talk about the museum that focuses on the military installation that was at the south end of town, originally as Roswell Army Airfield and later to Walker Air Force Base. And there's a museum there in the air terminal. As soon as you walk into the main entrance of the airport, it's right there on your right as you come in. If you come to that main middle entrance there, and not only does it honor and pay homage to the history of the base that was here in Roswell, but also the mission during the Cold War of some of the silos that some of the early, way after we started getting into more high-tech solid fuel stuff. We had the old school early nukes calling this part of the world home for a while there. So.
Yeah, we're going to have a little history on that today on some of the things that happened out there that was unfortunate as far as the silos, and then also touch a little bit about on what we have for the kids 12 to 18 years old that we're going to hopefully kick off again when school comes up.
Good deal.
And a few words about the Roswell Museum Day coming up on the 16th of September.
Yeah, I was just talking, this is something that I think it feels like it should be in a long time coming, where we are very lucky to have a community of this size, 50,000, which in the big scope of things, it's not a big city, but, and certainly a town of this size doesn't boast as many amenities that many towns of its size has, and that is especially true with our museums. I mean, you think of the International UFO Museum, which, very popular, big museum here, but that kind of scratches the surface when it comes to museums and art opportunities. I mean, we have the city in and of itself has its own art museum and planetarium right there. Of course, the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, the Anderson Museum, the Miniatures Museum,
McBride Museum
at Nimi, yes, which is great. I finally saw it for the first time this summer. First time I ever saw it. I finally got to see it. Really nice. I didn't realize that they have a Medal of Honor in there. How often you get to see a Medal of Honor? Not very often. They got one in there. But and of course the Walker Aviation Museum here at the south end. And so there is a day where we're kind of encouraging the public and everything. It's like, hey, go see what's in your backyard here today. And so all the museums are kind of partner up with the city and everything for this event. So.
Yeah, we had a meeting planning the Roswell Museum Day yesterday at the Miniature and Curious Collections Museum, which used to be Cobean's.
Yes.
For people that's like the corner of Richardson and 4th Street.
Yeah, it's right kind of near City Hall, downtown.
Actually, just going into that building for someone that lived here all their life, except when I was in the Air Force, that's kind of like reminisce of that, because that was a really important building at that time. And but I was just amazed at Nancy Fleming and her group of all the great stuff they've got in that museum. Matter of fact, I immediately put it down that I'm going to take my wife there.
Yeah, it is. It's more than meets the eye, like Transformers. There, right. It really has a lot of great, cool things that I think most people realize is not even here.
Yeah,
and I would even argue if you've never set foot in the Anderson Museum, which actually the people that do the Anderson Museum also do the Miniatures Museum. That is yes, our city museum is amazing and got really cool stuff. But if you've never walked in the Anderson Museum, that's another beautiful
that's
facility.
Amazing. Yeah.
So use this day as an excuse to go out and see your local museums.
Now, the Miniature and Curious, that's only open on Thursday. It says here Thursday and Saturday, but I thought it was Friday and Saturday. But anyway, 10 to 4 because they have limited people.
Gotcha.
And Nancy was laughing about when she gets that museum open, she has to turn on 35 lights. Of all the little displays and stuff.
Oh, man.
So she said it takes about, half an hour, not really, but to run out, just get all the lights turned on.
You know what's not little about here? The light bill. That's a lot of lights.
A lot of them are like little lights on these little displays. Anyway,
that's true.
Yeah.
Of course, you'd think they'd wire them on one switch or something so they wouldn't have to turn them all on individually. But
yeah, we're, as we're open, like Mike said, two our double mission out there. One is the history, obviously, of the base from opening around 1941 to 45, being a advanced pilot training base for twin-engine aircraft, and then bombardier training. And then immediately after the end of the war, the B-29s that dropped the atomic bombs came back to Walker Air Force Base. They did not originate from Walker. A lot of people had that misconception. They were at Wendover, Utah, and they're to Tinian. And then after the war was over, they came back here.
And generally speaking, training bases don't have at least like my time in the military, if you're a training base, that's your role. You train.
Right.
The aircraft that you have at your facility aren't for war. They're for training.
Right.
And so the aircraft that are meant for war are at bases that are mission capable, ready to go to war when they're called up. Roswell's role was not that.
Right.
So that's why those planes weren't here.
Yeah. And, Ted and I and Bob Donnell, and we've all been doing research, and kind of an interesting thing we found out, and I actually heard that written in writing. One of the reasons the base closed in 1967 was that during alerts and stuff, B-52s and KC-135s that were refueling tankers taking off, based on particularly hot temperatures sometimes, as we're just talking about, and the altitude here in Roswell, about 3,600 feet or so, when the tankers took off, they actually had to leave behind 48,000 pounds of fuel because they couldn't get off the runway because of the altitude.
Gotcha.
So if you have a lower altitude, so they didn't really have the capability And the B-52s the same way. They kind of, because of the altitude, so that came into the formula of what bases are we going to close other than maybe just being purely political.
It wasn't really ideal for a mission-ready base because
for that type of
it was hard to fly missions out for those
right.
particular. But you have a runway that big, which are NASA for bombers and things. So it was a kind of a mixed bag there a little bit.
And Ted said he was doing some research, and he said that the main runway here is 53 inches thick.
Oof.
And that's about twice as thick as what they were talking about maximum for some of these real heavy aircraft.
Oh, wow.
Need to be like in the 25-inch area.
So in theory, that thing should handle weight-wise about anything we can throw at it.
Anything that can land on out there. So pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But our board members right now are myself. I'm going to probably be stepping down here in July as the president, and someone else is going to jump in my position. But Allie Bishop is our treasurer. Katie Yates was our former treasurer. Sandy Correa. Secretary Bob Donnell. Juliana Halverson. She's a busy little chicken running around doing
She's always
everything.
About 100 things.
But Judy Armstrong, Jerry Cloffer, Friar Jorak Nowaki that you had on.
We just had him on this morning. Great guy.
He's going to be the head of the new Leadership Roswell. Stephen Miller, Ted Smith is our new volunteer at the museum. He's a retired Army.
Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, last month he filled in. I think it was last month he filled in for you.
Yeah.
So
And,
great guy.
He worked with intelligence, so if you ask him, what did you do in the Army? He said, I'll tell you, but I have to kill you.
And he's probably right.
So then, so anyway, we've, Peggy,
Bolin?
Bolin.
Yes.
Peggy. She's on our new group.
Oh, good. Well, she's she loves, because she does a lot of teaching of STEM and that kind of stuff, which is right in the wheelhouse of the Walker Aviation Museum. But she's also a fan of space and rocketry and stuff, which, not directly involved, but certainly rocketry and stuff with Walker Aviation Museum. So I see the interest being very mutual there. So she, of course, she got nominated for a Teacher of the Year thing and got to come off a trip at Disneyland. And so she's been pretty busy herself there. But good to see she's getting involved in that, too. Again, those people we always see getting involved in many things in our community. She's one of those people that you see in a lot of different circles here. So that's a good thing. I wanted to, for folks that don't know, the museum, like we said, it's there talking about the artifacts and talking about some of the, history that from and displaying and showing the history from the Air Force Base. But the other real mantra role of the museum is the STEM side. And so if you have a youth group or groups like that are interested in learning stuff about STEM-related things, career fields in the aviation industry, even go so far as to getting your pilot's license or starting the process to earning your pilot's license. They've got a simulator there that actually is certified simulator that at the end of the day counts towards simulator training hours, flying hours to work towards your goal of getting your pilot's license. You need X amount of hours in the seat, getting that training and all that. All of that seat time and that simulator helps count towards that stuff. So, if you're playing your cards or your goals right, you could, in theory, get a lot of prerequisites done towards going towards a path to getting a pilot's license, just by hanging out and supporting the Walker Aviation Museum. So it really is not just recognizing and preserving the history of the missile silos and the base that the south end of town called home, but encouraging the next generation to get involved in aviation industry related jobs, STEM related career fields, because you guys promote career fields, not just oil or not just air maintenance, but oil field and various other STEM related career fields in our neck of the woods here. So
yeah, as a matter of fact, when they come in, we give them a little quick history rundown of the base, and then we take them out to the edge of the fence and show them that what's parked out there and what's going on. Some of the companies that are working on the airfield, and then we show them a little video after we split them into two groups, they go to the flight simulators that we got through a grant from XL Energy, thanks to them. And then the other half sit there and we show them off of a large computer screen there off of YouTube stuff. We on developing a Venn diagram on how to best, determine what's your best thing to, pursue as a career.
Sure.
And most of the kids nowadays know what a Venn diagram is, but that's interesting. And then the videos that we show them is number one, Careers in Aviation, Eastern New Mexico University Roswell Aviation Maintenance Technician Program, A Day in the Life of a Wind Turbine Engineer, Crumlin Auto Group and New Mexico University Roswell Auto Mechanic Program, Energy Careers, which is kind of a cluster of different things on the energy industry, a well workers career video, what does a registered nurse do? And then we have several U.S. Air Force recruiting really short videos. One is aerospace ground equipment, air traffic control, electronic principles, and geospatial intelligence. And the last one we show them are 6 hiring areas in a video called The Day in the Life at CIA.
Oh, cool.
So they kind of like, oh, wow. Just try to open up their eyes, different stuff. And then all you folks out there in the audience, if you go to our website, wfbmuseum.org, and click on education, you can find, besides the description of the program we just talked about, you can find about 50 additional YouTubes that we've listed there for career, about 35 YouTubes on aviation, and then on down you run into 38 videos that's professional pilot training. It's kind of like your ground school for flying.
Okay.
So you could watch all those and it'd be about 12 hours of stuff on aviation, and you're going to be one smart chicken if you go up and look at maybe becoming a pilot, because you're going to have all this information. And then if you go down and find some color photos of Bob Donnell, and I think the back of my head on some of this stuff, working with the kids on these flight simulators, up above that you'll see a little place where you can click and you go to onet.org, and it's occupational network.
Okay.
And that's what the high schools use here, but it's a different website that gives you 331 jobs listed alphabetically that are oriented toward science.
Oh, wow.
Engineering and math and stuff like that.
So if you're trying to help, get your child some opportunities and show them places, museums got a lot of different videos and things to kind of at least give you stuff to throw at the wall and see what sticks, kind of thing.
That's right. Absolutely. That's right.
I know we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the silos and the history there. Let's
do that quick.
Let's kind of change gears and talk a little bit about that.
Okay, a little quick history here on the 579th Strategic Missile Squadron was here. There were 12 Atlas F missile silos started in construction in Roswell around 1960, and all 12 silos were completed by November 1961. So they're fully operational during the Cuban Missile Crisis, which was in 28 October 1962.
Okay.
There was a construction accident, and I wasn't really fully aware of that. During construction in February 1961, a site number 2, 33 miles northeast of Roswell, on a 35-ton crane got stuck in reverse gear, and despite frantic efforts, went over the edge of the silo.
Oh, geez.
It fell equivalent of 17 stories, striking the side and exploding and descending into a ball of fire. 6 men were killed, and a lot more were injured. And some of the men had very serious burns. So that was terrible.
Wow.
3 missile silos exploded over a 2-year period. The liquid oxygen used for the it was a real touchy substance.
Mm-hmm.
And it could suddenly detonate and start a fire or an explosion. At 6:30 p.m. on June 1st, 1963, the Atlas F missile silo number 1 near Highway US 70, about 15 miles northeast of Roswell, exploded. The 2 topside doors were closed at the time it exploded, and each of the 32-ton, 64,000-pound doors were blown off their hinges and propelled about 50 feet in the air and about 100 feet away. The flames reached about 500 feet. People in Roswell reported feeling a ground shudder. Fire burned out of control for 19 and a half hours.
Wow.
Now, obviously, the missile and silo were destroyed. A faulty filter that caught fire and came in contact with the liquid oxygen was the blame for the explosion. And it was the first silo in the United States to blow up. It was ranked as the most destructive fire in the nation in 1963. Property loss was calculated at more than $8 million, and that's in 1963 dollars.
Was I can't remember. Was the warhead in there on that one? Okay,
no.
That's the one it was.
And none of these three had any warheads, and none of the three silos that blew up had resulted in any injuries.
And to be honest, the way these things were designed, even back then,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you don't want that happening with the warhead in there, but the way those are designed, they're designed to not cook up the warhead,
right?
To keep it from doing.
I don't think it had a warhead on it at the time. Killed region enough warning to safely seal themselves in control, which was protected by heavy blast suppression doors. The following year, on February 13th, 64, silo number 5, about 30 miles east of Roswell, exploded and closed down Highway 380 for a period of time. And it was exploded as it was being raised to the surface, and the doors were open. A valve malfunction releasing oxygen into the silo, and once again, no casualties. The crew members wearing helmets and gas masks emerged from their underground bunkers after the blast. And 24 days later, on March 9th, 64, a third silo exploded on silo number 2, which is the same one that the crane fell into.
Oh, wow. It was a bad luck silo.
Bad luck silo. And destroying it in February 61. And it was located, again, 33 miles northeast of Roswell, 200 yards off of US 70. Once again, the doors were open on this, and the missile just jammed part way up the silo. The automatic valve accidentally released a high concentration of oxygen, and the crewmen in the silo were evacuated and dashed through the tunnel to the safety of the control room. And then moments later, the silo exploded. The explosion unjammed the missile, and it fell to the bottom of the silo where it exploded again.
No, jeez.
And the silos around Roswell had more accidents than all the other missile silos in the country combined.
Wow.
So in November 64, Washington announced it was going to close the missile operations at Roswell, and closure eliminated 352 military personnel in the Roswell area because, that particular mission went away.
Mm-hmm.
And the last missile was trucked away on February 4th, 65, because those Atlas missiles were used by NASA. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So really, it sounds like that was kind of the beginning of the end for the base when they decided to close down those missile silos and things, and
that may have contributed to it. Yeah.
It sounds like it's like
because that's only 2 years away from when they.
Yeah, that's I got a feeling that was all leading up to the BRAC closure there, and all that. Just you're kind of seeing the evolution of how that happened. Interesting. That's I'm curious. I'm like because I know some people privately own some of those silos, and some are. I'm wondering if number 2 got filled in, or what's to that?
I don't know.
Because I feel like that one's got.
I would think I'd stay away from number 2.
That one feels like it's got extra plagued or something. I don't know, but at the same time, I'd be curious to see it, just because my history, draws me there. I'm fascination with it. I'd be drawn to it. But.
Now, jumping away from that right quick, and then we'll come back to history right quick.
Yeah.
I believe your previous person in here.
Winters.
And good morning. It is.
September, which is a Saturday, from 10 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the evening, 10 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock. We're going to have Roswell Museum Day.
Yes.
And you can
we
run
talked
around
a little bit
with
about
passports, and you can get stamped and stuff. And so you're talking 7 museums in Roswell. I was laying in bed last night, and I kept coming up with 6. And guess what I forgot? The main UFO museum.
The UFO museum.
Yeah.
You got
so you got Roswell Museum, the Goddard Planetarium, you got Anderson Museum, you got Historical Society, Southeast New Mexico, General Douglas McBride Museum, NIMI, International UFO Museum, Miniature Curious and Collections Museum down there where, what we said, 4th and Richardson.
Your Beans.
And the Walker Aviation Museum. So
good deal.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that the McBride Museum, I finally got to see it in all my years here. When my brother, when he was in town, we took a tour of the campus because he's, maybe one day my nephews might end up there when they're of age. But that's the first time I got to go and tour the McBride Museum and walk through it, and that was cool to see some of the artifacts and see some of the life at the campus before modern times and things, and seeing what like the Medal of Honor. There's a Medal of Honor of one of the NIMI alum that ultimately got the Medal of Honor, and it's there in the museum, and you don't very often get to see a real life Medal of Honor up close and personal.
Yeah.
The award and thing, and so for me to see that was kind of a cool thing for me. I really dug that. So, but yeah, definitely, please, in September, as many folks listening, take advantage of it. This is right in your backyard. You have so much cool history and culture that's literally within a 5-minute drive of your house. Please come that day, get your passports, go to the UFO Museum, go to the Walker Aviation Museum, go to the Historical Society, go to the Anderson Museum, go to the McBride Museum, go to the Miniatures Museum, go and check out all the planetarium, all of this stuff. If you've never been, you're going to be way impressed by a lot of it there. And if you have been, you might be surprised at how much it's changed since the last time you've been there. So
that's the truth.
So definitely check it out. So, but again, that's September, was it 16th?
16th.
Yes. Pretty much all day. And I'm guessing how it works is you stop at one of the museums and you can get your passport and everything, and then start your journey to get it filled out and all that good stuff. So.
Right.
Good deal. What else do we want to cover and talk about?
Well, I was going to mention real quickly for you out there, people that are interested in history and stuff. Reading, I've finished a couple books, and a couple of them I'm still in the process. But Countdown 1945, I mentioned that before, by Chris Wallace.
Okay.
It was the #1 bestseller. And it was... Put
it on your recommended reading list.
Yeah. It's counting down to dropping the bomb at Hiroshima.
Okay.
Enola Gay is another one. That was written back in 1977, not older book.
So is that more about the plane, or is it just talk about that night?
Kind of about
its role?
We had building up to the...
Okay. Because I'm always equally fascinated with the history of the plane before and after, and like what happened to it.
Yeah. It kind of talks about Enola Gay and how...
Okay, cool.
What it did and afterwards and stuff. Then another one I'm reading is called Inside the Cold War by Chris Adams. And I got that down at the Roswell book for museum. The Roswell... where you go and get the bookstore.
Oh, the
for money for the.
The Friends of the Roswell Library. Yeah. Books.
That was
again.
one of the books they had on display that was kind of a special. So it was
great way to support the library.
180-page thing, and a guy by the name of Chris Adams goes through, and the first chapters are like all the aircraft used in the Cold War, and then talks about the missiles and different things about that went on during the Cold War. So
I love those.
That's interesting. Yeah. Another one was I found it's really interesting, and I read it at night when I go to bed. It's called the World War II 100, and it's ranking of the most influential figures of the Second World War. And it's like an 8x10 size book, but each person that they mention, and they're listed by the most important 1, 2, 3, goes down the list, and there's 100 of them there, and I'm down to about 30 or something now. But it's about 2.5 pages, a real quick summary of who they are, what they did, why they were kind of picked in this stuff.
Okay.
Okay, and the way they are ranked, I'll give you the first 11. Adolf Hitler, he was key to why we had World War II.
Kind of a big deal of World War II, yes.
Number 2, Franklin Roosevelt, and then Winston Churchill, Joseph Stalin, George Marshall. I have a hard time with this one. Isoroku Yamamoto, he planned the
He's the one who planned the Pearl Harbor attack. Yeah.
Dwight Eisenhower, Douglas MacArthur, Jimmy Doolittle, Douglas Bader. You can say Douglas Bader. Who's that? And then next was George Patton, General Patton.
Oh, yeah.
So Douglas Bader is a really interesting one. I read that. And what it was is they picked out a guy that was a pilot, and they picked him to represent all the pilots that flew their Spitfires and stuff that defended Britain during the Battle of Britain.
Was he one of the guys that, did he go early?
Sometimes they flew, 2 missions a day or 3 missions a day.
Wonder if was he one of the guys that, like, before the United States officially entered the war, there were some mercenary types that went and enlisted in the Royal Air Force as Americans to fight for the British.
I think this guy was British, but
okay,
he ended up, some of his background, he ended up being in charge of the British fighter group, a Canadian air group. He had personally 23 kills. He'd shot down 23 German fighters. He was shot down, captured, and he escaped.
Because you get, 5 for being an ace, right? If you kill 5, you're an ace.
Yeah.
So
he shot down 23.
That's 5 times over being an ace.
So then,
almost 5 times.
He was shot down, captured, and he escaped, and then he got flying again, and he got shot down again, and this time he spent the rest of the war as a POW. However, the catch at the end is Douglas Bader, from the very beginning, had no legs. He had artificial legs. 10 years before World War II, he was in an aircraft accident and lost both of his legs.
Oh, wow.
But he insisted on flying and doing his part. So he did all of that, flying fighters and jumping out and landing and escaping and stuff with artificial legs.
Wow.
And I thought, golly, that's pretty impressive. But
it is.
Anyway, that's just kind of one of the books.
That's really cool
stuff. But kind of come across stuff like that.
And every single one of those individuals you mentioned are interesting enough to read their biographies on their own. Even Hitler and those, that's good information to learn.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ones later on that you maybe don't recognize the name, but they had some key things that they played in the war.
Yeah, I mean, but certainly some of those military leaders, obviously Churchill. I mean,
Yeah.
Great Britain would be speaking German if it wasn't for Churchill. That's just the truth. But I love that stuff. So yeah, go ahead and hopefully this stuff begats other things. Like you pick one of these up and then and that's generally, especially when it comes to history style books, is you read about one subject and it kind of piques the interest of other things, and you're kind of like, you start reading about maybe a particular event that took place during World War II, and then you're like, well, I'm very curious about this individual or whatever. And so
if you read some of the reviews, you have people that are really pretty well knowledgeable about this stuff, and they kind of like argue. They say, well, I agree with the first 7 he picked, in order.
Yeah.
But I disagree with some of these other people should have been included that weren't, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So you can do the same thing. You go through there and say, I don't know if this guy rates to be this high up or this low down.
Yeah. Some people will take the Doolittle stuff as more important than it is. Then, a lot of people argue it's like, okay, maybe the impact wasn't, but the symbolism behind it is what made it special, and so. But anyway, you have those debates for yourself and talk about that stuff. And
by the way, Cattle Baron manager over there, the director, Weiser, he is on our board too.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Tell him that he's in charge of bringing lunch, bringing the dinner.
Yeah.
Steak dinner, sir, buddy.
I left his name out a while ago, so I don't want him beating me up next time he's
No, or at least undercooking your steak next time.
That's right.
Or
Okay,
overcooking it. That'd be far worse.
Yeah.
But if folks want to get involved and volunteer, or if you'd like to support the Walker Aviation Museum in any way, shape, or form, wafbmuseum.org is the website. If you go to W, it stands for Walker, AFB, Air Force Base Museum.org, that'll take you to the website. They're doing a little construction and things on the website right now.
Yeah. Juliana Halverson told me this morning to say, have people check it out in about a week. Next Monday or something.
Normally they have a donate now button if you to go and donate regularly. Well, they're doing some maintenance on there, so it's going to be about a week before that pops back up. I will invite you to don't forget that the Amazon Smile, there is a tab on the website, or if you go to Amazon and go through their Smile program, the Walker Aviation Museum does support that. So you can like and follow the Smile page for Amazon, and then every time you shop there, a couple bucks from your purchase goes back to the museum. It's a great way to, you're going to go on there shopping anyway. If you can't support local, then the next best thing is support local charities by, having Amazon donate a few pennies every time you make a purchase on there.
Right.
Another great way to help. And then, like I always said, if you're an organization that's looking, maybe you want to do a special tour for kids group or youth group, or make arrangements for your organization to have a tour, that could be done. Generally speaking, the museum is open to the public around the flying schedule. So each day, Monday through Saturday, around 11 o'clock or so when that flight comes in, the museum is usually open about an hour and a half prior, and then a little after that flight takes off.
About 2.5 hours. Like right now, it's leaving at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So we get out there about 9:30 now.
About 9:30 and hang out to about 1 or so, probably.
Or
or 12:30.
Till there's nobody left in the museum.
Right, till everyone's tired and then gone. And then,
or, nobody's there, so then you just shut up and go.
Depends on if the flight's on time or not.
By the way, supporters, I didn't want to forget them.
Yes.
This year, Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development, Glenn's Furniture, Six Bomb Wing Reunion Group sent us some money. David Petroleum and General Doug Murray sent us some money. Last year, and big supporters in the past is Roswell Toyota, XL Energy, and some doctors in town, Phil Cathy and Engstrom, and Lloyd Hughes, a friend of mine, and Aerospace. Aerosail was a big supporter in past years, and it also provides tours for kids nowadays that we kind of get them organized and go out there and do that.
Oh, cool.
We've got the University High coming out with their entrepreneur, whatever, class, where they come out and actually get some training. They'll be coming out and helping us run the museum.
Perfect.
So
big thank you to all them supporters. Without the support, that museum would not be there.
And Jim Williams, Steve Griffin, and Bob Donnell got together and got 5 4x8 pegboards and put on the south reinforced concrete wall so we can hang pictures easier. And we had to use those nail guns, and that kind of got
I heard
got
about
the
that
TSA
one.
excited. And we told them ahead of time. So.
Don't forget that if you're interested in serving as a docent or want to volunteer in any way, shape, or form, reach out. Come by to the museum during those flying schedule days, or come to one of the board meetings, or shoot a message on the Walker Aviation Museum Facebook page. Any of those things will reach out and they'll get back.
First thing the guys go to, and then they start looking at the rest of the museum, is they walk right up and look at the 3 World War II combat rifles that are on display in a lot of cases. Japanese rifle, German rifles, and Russian rifles. So,
by the way, if y'all ever get tired of that old military desk in there, I'll take it off your hands. That thing weighs 1,000,000 pounds.
Oh, I know.
Not the prettiest.
We got a
of desks.
typewriter sitting on it that weighs about 40 pounds.
Not the prettiest of desks, but I guarantee if there's nuclear fallout, that desk will still be around.
Or, you have a problem, you say, get under your desk.
Yeah.
Well, you can get under that one.
Desk is pretty safe.
Okay, well, I'll let you go.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next month back at your normal bat channel and bat time there. And again, wafbmuseum.org. Go there and learn more and be a part of the museum and come see what's in your own backyard here. It's a good thing.
The community. The hiring event will be Tuesday, July 25th at Roswell City Hall from 2 to 4 p.m. The event will be held in the HR conference room on the top floor of City Hall. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
If you use OpenAI's ChatGPT, you may have noticed over the past few weeks that it seems a bit off. Some users describe it as lazier. Some even say it's gotten dumber. Here's why. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. Deep inside the software that powers ChatGPT, engineers have made some changes. Their intent was to make ChatGPT more accurate, and they did that, but it came at a price. It also became much slower. So software engineers turned around and sped it up, and that's made the whole system even less accurate, but much quicker. And what good is that? Website editors say that they're being deluged by writers whose work was actually written by ChatGPT. In many cases, it's pure junk and not acceptable for publishing. So if you're using ChatGPT to, say, augment your work, as it stands right now, you're probably not fooling anyone. Get Tech Smarts the easy and fun way with my free newsletter. Sign up at getkim.com. When an intruder threatens your home, every second counts. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Simply Safe Home Security's latest innovation. It's called 24/7 Live Guard Protection, and it's made possible by Simply Safe's new Smart Alarm wireless indoor camera. Now with a Fast Protect monitoring plan, if an intruder breaks in, Simply Safe monitoring agents can actually see, speak to, and deter them through the camera, letting them know that they're being recorded and that police are on their way. It's a game changer in home security. The new Smart Alarm indoor camera and 24/7 Live Guard protection work seamlessly as part of a Simply Safe whole home security system, keeping your home safe from break-ins, fires, flooding, and more. Right now, get a special 20% off any Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. This huge offer is only available for a limited time. Visit simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe. simplysafekim.com.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and hot today. Our afternoon highs between 105 and 110. We do have a slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm. Overnight will be cloudy, mid-70s, and then between 105 and 108 for the highs on Friday, and we will get sunshine. Low 100s for the high on Saturday, and sunny on Sunday, and about 100. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
When you or a loved one need medical transport, cost and ability to pay shouldn't get in the way. That's why Trans-Aero Medevac, through the generous support of the Written in Red Foundation and PY Foundation, provide air ambulance memberships to the residents of Eddy County at no out-of-pocket cost. As an Eddy County resident, as long as you're flown by Trans-Aero Medevac, Trans-Aero will accept your insurance or third-party payment with no additional out-of-pocket expense to you. Best of all, as a resident of Eddy County, you're automatically enrolled, free of charge. Because when minutes matter, financial burden should be the last thing on anyone's mind. You have a choice. Be sure to request Trans-Aero, a streamlined, personal, patient, and family-friendly air ambulance service. For more information, visit transaeromedevac.org. Trans-Aero Medevac. They really are wings for life.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
A wave that's been scorching much of the Southwest, bringing triple-digit temps and an increase of the risk of wildfires. California Governor's Office of Emergency Services spokesman Brian Ferguson says the extreme heat is creating several risks.
Heat can lead to wildfires. It can impact our power grid and its reliability, can create smoke, and certainly the heat combined with the sheer volume of water that we have in the mountains is bringing an unprecedented amount of water down, and there's dangerous and very cold water that's already claimed a number of lives this year.
Officials in Vermont focusing on recovery from the flooding that trapped a number of residents in their homes and businesses, but the news is bad. Forecasters say that region is in for yet more heavy rain. Also, at townhall.com, the reformer who won Thailand's election, failing to win enough votes in parliament to become prime minister.
Here behind me, there's a lot of very angry speeches being made here at a little park just outside Parliament. This is where supporters have moved forward. The Reformers Party that did so well in the May election gathered to listen to the votes as they were counted one by one. And of course, they're bitterly disappointed, although this result was not that much of a surprise. But many people have said to me down here today, they say, what is the point of having an election if what we vote for doesn't get represented in Parliament? We don't get the government we voted for.
BBC correspondent Jonathan Head. Leaders from Sudan, 6 neighboring countries meeting in Cairo for the most high-profile peace talks yet since that conflict erupted in the northeastern African country in mid-April. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Florida will be reenacted twice with a firing of about 140 blanks on campus. It's all part of the family's lawsuit against the former sheriff's deputy they accuse of failing to stop the gunman. Circuit Judge Carol Lisa Phillips granting the motion from attorney David Brill, who says his video recorded reenactment will provide former Broward deputy Scott Peterson knew the shooter was firing inside the classroom and did nothing about it.
I certainly want to do this before the students return to the campus. I think that's an important issue as well. So I am going to allow for the reenactment.
Officials still aren't sure how it happened, but in Illinois, a Greyhound bus crashed into 3 semis. 3 people are dead, 14 have been hurt. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com. China has reported its exports tumbled 12.4% in June. That from a year earlier as demand weakened after central banks raised interest rates to curb inflation.
Customs data showed imports slid 6.8%. Trade weakness adds to downward pressure on the world's second largest economy. Global consumer demand is weakened after the Federal Reserve and central banks in Europe and Asia raised interest rates to bring inflation down from near multi-decade highs by reining in business and consumer activity.
That is correspondent Jeremy House reporting. Around Major League Baseball, a lot of players now taking off their shoes and socks before the game and take a little stroll through the outfield. Why, you might ask? Well, barefoot walking is said to have tremendous benefits, including decreasing pain. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce.
He was chewing.
Sorry.
Was it? Let me guess. Was it one of those cookies from Nook?
No.
Oh, those are tasty.
Those are very good.
I saw them still sitting. I was like, oh, they're still here.
They're slowly dwindling down.
I was like surprised. I was like, oh, they're still here. I saw a funny dad joke that made me giggle right before I went
You're
on
not
air.
allowed, sir.
I know.
You haven't served where I've served. That's stolen valor.
I'm a cat dad. No. That's what people tell me. I'm like,
you need to get your shirts that just hashtag cat daddy.
Well, they do have those shirts that you can get like the cartoon of your kitty. And it's like I've seen those online.
You can get a plushie of your kitties.
Yeah, yeah. I got big fat hairy ones. Isolate that.
I was gonna say, isolate that clip.
But no, the dad joke that made me chuckle was, and it was they set it up with the. You seen the memes where it's Captain Picard and number one, and it's one of those.
Right.
And it said, I used to be in a band. It was called The Hinges. We opened for the Doors. That made me laugh. I'm sorry. I thought that was fun.
That's really good. That's really, very, very good.
Sorry, that made me laugh. I know it's dumb as all get out, but it made me giggle. Oh, by the way, so as a radiophile, I check out other radio things and stuff, and so in my hometown of Washington D.C., there's a radio show called the Sports Junkies. They're kind of, I think they're usually one of the top rated shows.
They're syndicated too to a few markets. Right?
Just a couple, like Baltimore, Pennsylvania, like just right in that little area.
That I know about them. I feel like they're on a few more stations than
they have they're a little bit bigger deal back people, but anyway. So apparently there's the Sports Junkies. There's 4 of them on that show. So one of them, I guess they made one of those Thailand Burger King 20 slice cheese sandwiches. Yeah.
For the little context, there's a Burger King in Thailand that advertised it's called the Real Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Which is just 20 slices of American cheese between a bun.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's some melt to it, but pictures I've seen, it just looks like...
Yeah, a lot of it's not
the best meme I've seen of it so far, though, was them advertising it. And then, have you ever seen, and this is it's a reference to The Simpsons, but it's Homer Simpson in his underwear sitting at the table going, 20 slices of American cheese. Because there's a scene in The Simpsons where he sits at the table and in one evening eats 64 slices of American cheese while... Mr. Burns and Smithers are in suction cups on the ceiling, trying not to be detected.
By the way, that doesn't work.
No.
The suction cups, they never work.
No.
Like, didn't Mythbusters do that as a myth one time? Like try to use suction cups to climb a building or something?
They did something with it.
Yeah.
But then again, you look at people like, the human Spider-Man that's up there climbing, like the Sears Tower or whatever it's called now.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's always, like those parkour people that do that all the time. That looks like not natural.
See, every time this is the thing, dude. Every time somebody mentions parkour, I always think of a video I saw. There's certain things
that one didn't end well.
There's certain things that I'm like, okay, I'm done with it as a sport or as watching it. And this one was somebody was trying to over like a walking bridge over like a little creek path, grabbed the wall, hurtled over, misjudged it, and went teeth and face first into the other side of the walking path, like the wall. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, we're done watching these forever, ever and ever and ever and ever. There's a scene, I'm not gonna say what it is. There's a scene in John Wick 4 that I legitimately had to turn away from the screen because I could not bear witness to it. And it involves the face.
Okay.
I'm very sensitive when it comes to certain facial injuries. And
me too.
Yeah, it's a rough one, but boy, howdy is it good.
Yeah, I don't do well with those. I've told you about that in real life, or my dad and all that. Yeah, I don't do head wounds. Well, I see him, I pass out. Oh man, but anyway, apparently one of the junkies decided that they could eat said sandwich.
Okay,
and so they recreated it. I only saw like a 30-second clip. And he got about one bite in and then started spitting it out. So I don't think
I would imagine. I mean, sure, your bun is toasted, I'm sure, which gives the cheese a little bit of melt. Maybe they, kind of, heat the cheese up a little bit to melt it a little. There's no way I could bite through that much cheese and bread.
Yeah.
With no variations.
Like, because literally that's a pack of cheese they put on there.
Yeah.
Like if you buy a thing of Kraft Singles, it's basically a package of those they put on there. And what do they go for? About $6 a package?
I mean, you can get for a pack of Kraft Singles, you can probably get it for like $3.50. You don't shop much, do you?
Well, not for sliced cheese per se, like that.
Yeah, probably $3.50 if you're getting the brand. If you're going for generics or like one of the off brands, probably like in your $2.
I'm just wondering like how expensive of a sandwich it is. It's like you're going to pay as much for a burger because it's cheese. But I don't know. It feels like it's a waste of money to me.
It's like $3 worth of cheese in a bun, essentially.
And to be honest, cheese lovers. Like people that are like, I could eat cheese all the time.
American cheese.
I don't think 20 slices of American cheese between 2 pieces of bread is their idea of a good thing.
Here's the thing. It's called pasteurized cheese product. They have to call it that because it's not 51% or more cheese.
Right.
And by law, it is cheese adjacent.
It's like Pringles. They're not chips. They're crisps.
They're crisps.
Because they're not allowed to call them chips.
Now, do you like Pringles?
I do.
But yet you balk at instant mashed potatoes, which I would argue are the same thing.
Well,
just one's wet and compressed. And I say that because there's recipes and TikToks online about people taking cans of Pringles and turning them into mashed potatoes.
Well,
and it's vile to watch, but it apparently it works.
To be honest, maybe it's a hot thing, but like to me, like Pringles as a chip form don't taste like paper. They just but to me,
I think it's probably a texture thing with the crunch.
Well,
it
maybe
offsets it enough for
but
you.
to me, I eat instant or potato flake, and it tastes like paper to me. It tastes like I'm chewing on a tree, and I'm just like, this is just gross. Give me a potato.
Give me a real potato. I'll eat like fruit.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's one of my favorite words. I'm really glad I learned it at an early age. Hand fruit. It's a fun thing to say in a conversation. It strikes the ear the correct way.
It does.
Because you probably never heard it, but you know instantly what it is.
You know exactly what it is. Yeah, I'm full out
on mashed potatoes.
Yeah, those
on mashed taters.
Not gonna do it. And I've eaten them enough to know. I mean, like military, everything else, and there was a time in the 90s where, everyone, their uncle were buying those potato flakes because they can make mashed potatoes without mashing potatoes.
Still a fan.
Yeah, but now you can buy pretty much pre-made mashed potatoes, and they're just as good.
The reason I like the instant is because of the variety of different flavors that you can achieve. Like,
well, in theory, you could do that with the regular potatoes.
But it takes a lot more effort and work to put real. But like, if you have like garlic and herb instant mashed potatoes, you just do your thing with the water, milk, whatever.
Yeah,
and it has those flavors in it, and it's rich. It's buttery. I like it. I mean, it's
you do you, brother. I mean,
I'm going to continue to do me, sir.
But I'm just saying, you could do just as that by buying the Bob Evans tub of mashed potatoes and pouring, and it tastes way better.
I would argue that might not necessarily be whole potato product, though.
Well, it's way closer than paper potatoes. And actually, Bob Evans is. It's down on the farm.
Is it?
It's down on the farm.
You've been down on the farm?
I have. I got a hat and everything.
You and Bob are on first name basis?
We've been down on the farm in Ohio, yes.
just country boys and boys getting down on the farm. That's all this is.
Well, they're big in breakfast sausage. That's what Bob Evans is there. They have delicious restaurants.
Because they were the restaurants.
Yeah, but they were originally sausage. They sold breakfast sausage.
That's like when you find out that Howard Johnson started as a restaurant chain. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, Bob Evans they sold sausage, patties and links and Chubb sausage.
Oh, they come from my boy Jimmy Dean then.
Yeah, they're in Ohio is where they're farmed, but they're big back east. And then somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s, they started a restaurant chain, which is similar to like a Cracker Barrel, something along those lines, but they don't have the store, as big a store. Sure. Like they do, like you go in, you can buy hats, shirts, and brownies and whatnot, but it's not like Cracker Barrel. But the food's that same down home country, their biscuits and gravy is really good, and they have a lot of family meals like turkey and dressing and meatloaf and pot roast and those kind of meals. Right. But they're all homemade stuff. And then they started packaging, and that's the only thing you can get out here for Bob Evans. Bob Evans mashed potatoes or mac and cheese, which they're good. They don't taste like the
It's
Bob
like
Evans.
buying White Castle frozen hamburgers.
Yeah,
it's just not gonna be the same.
Yeah. But if you happen, and they don't have them here, you have to go back east. If you go into the meat section to buy your sausage, that's where you'll find the Bob Evans. Like if you go back east, right? And it's not even all east. Like upstate New York, you couldn't get it, but down in Maryland, you could. So like every time we went to upstate New York, my uncle insisted that my dad bring packages of Bob Evans sausage with him. So
sorry, when you started talking about Bob Evans, I was thinking about Jimmy Dean's, and I'm thinking these are the two big players in the sausage game, right? So would you call them Big Sausage?
That's right, they are.
Then that just made me go. Because let's face it, we're all perpetually 7.
Big Patty.
Battle of Big Sausage.
I'm the big sausage around
Big Sausage
here.
on High Mountain.
That's right. I think it should be a good wrestling name, Big Sausage.
Yeah, I would argue no. Because who's going to want to wrestle the Big Sausage?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Intimidation factor times 10.
You don't want to get in his hold. The Wiener roll up.
Right. I'm telling you.
The Wiener roll up.
I'm telling you, it's a good man.
It's largely a rest hole, but trust me, you don't want to be in it.
And then you get the dancers from European Vacation.
Yeah.
The ones where Clark gets in a fight with. Get those as you're walking.
There you go.
with the leader hosing and all that. Yeah, it'd be great. I probably should get the interview in. Big Sausage.
With that visual. Big Sausage dancing his way to the ring. The dark side would be amazing.
My gimmicks would be way better than everybody else's.
Can't wait to see the behind the scenes turmoil that was Big Sausage.
That's right. What's Big Sausage?
3 years into Big Sausage's career, he developed a severe painkiller habit.
That's right.
Just never shook it.
I saw him eat a hamburger once. It is 8:17. Let's get you up.
Weirdly, he was vegan.
That's right. It was Impossible Burger. 8:17. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and hot today. Our afternoon highs between 105 and 110. We do have a slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm. Overnight will be cloudy, mid-70s, and then between 105 and 108 for the highs on Friday, and we will get sunshine. Low 100s for the high on Saturday and sunny on Sunday, and about 100. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 84 here in Roswell. Humidity's at 38%, with winds out of the northwest at 3 miles per hour. We do have the heat advisory today through noon to 8 p.m. We do have a 30% chance for afternoon showers today, mainly after 3. Otherwise, partly cloudy with a high of 107, north winds 5 to 15. 20% chance at showers for tonight, mainly before 9 p.m., mostly cloudy, overnight low of 77, west winds 5 to 15. For you Friday, mostly sunny, 109 tomorrow with south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Looking at your weekend, Saturday, sunny and 102, a cool down. East winds at 10 to 15. Sunny on Sunday with a high of 101, so maybe a little bit of a break for the weekend, just 101 and 102. Monday when you head back to work, though, 107, 110 on Tuesday, 107 on Wednesday of next week. So enjoy your 3-4 degree respite this weekend. All right, it is 8:19. We're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break, and then we're going to play our interview we had with Rick Kraft and Father Warwick with Leadership Roswell. They're taking signups for our applications for the upcoming class here. Deadline is the end of July here, so we're going to play that interview next. Don't go away.
Your destination for health is closer than you think. You don't have to drive hours for personalized care. You can get high-quality health care right here, close to home, at Artesia General Hospital. From hip, knee, and shoulder replacements to sports injuries, general surgery, pain management, and wound care, our providers will help you get back to doing the things you love right here in Southeast New Mexico. Artesia General Hospital is here for you when you need us. To learn more about some of our key service lines, visit artesiageneral.com/closer.
Hi, this is Julia with Wheelchair and Walker Rentals. We are your go-to destination for all respiratory, mobility, and home healthcare equipment. From lift chairs to wheelchairs, oxygen, power mobility, and much more. You can even get it on rental or purchase. We work with you and your insurance to make it easy to get what you need. Delivery and setup are included. Give me a call today at 575-623-0799 and let Wheelchair and Walker Rentals improve your life today. We're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 at 305 West McGaffey in Roswell. Wheelchair and Walker Rentals serving all of southeastern New Mexico.
Do you struggle with acne, eczema, or worry about skin cancer? Research suggests that 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by the age of 70, but when detected early, 99% of skin cancer cases are curable. At Epiphany Dermatology of Roswell, we place special emphasis on prevention, screening, and treatment, so schedule your annual skin exam by calling us at 575-208-7050 or by visiting our website at epiphanydermatology.com and get checked today. Prevention is key.
We've all been around people that talk a lot, but don't really say anything. Maybe they're trying to impress, or maybe they think they're funny or entertaining. We've also been around people who don't say a lot, but when they do speak, it's worth listening. In the opening of 1 Corinthians 13, there is a discussion on ones who say a lot but don't have love. They're compared to beating on a gong. I can't think of too many things more annoying than beating on a gong. The whole paragraph is all about words and actions that try to bring glory to themselves instead of giving and showing love to others. Those kinds of words and actions aren't just a waste of time and energy, they have the opposite effect of what love is. They push people away instead of bringing them closer. The goal is to bring glory to the person instead of glory to God. True love is shown by putting others first, and in that bringing glory to God and not ourselves. This is a message for our community, our country, and our world, which they desperately need.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, talking leadership Roswell. Of course, Rick Kraft joining us here. And then now I stopped for a few minutes. I got to remember if I say this right. Father Yark.
Yes,
very good as well.
Good morning.
He is our going to be the new class president for the upcoming 2023-2024 Leadership Roswell class.
Yes, so. It is correct, and I am nervous already.
Very good. So, if you don't mind, where are you from, Father?
Oh, I am from Roswell. I can show you my ID.
Okay.
You know? Oh, originally.
I was just curious about the accent. Yeah.
So I am originally from Poland.
Poland. Okay. I was like, sounds Eastern European or that Eastern European area. I was like, but I don't want to. I don't want to get it wrong, so I was like, let me just.
Still, I have some accent. I know.
Very good deal. So, when did you come to the United States? Just curious.
And first, I came 2010.
Okay.
And 4th of July.
Okay.
So every year it's my anniversary. I just celebrated my anniversary.
Okay.
And the first 6 years I served in Virginia. And from 2016, I am serving in New Mexico as a priest. 1.5 years I served in Silver City.
Okay.
So a little higher, was level.
Sure.
And then from 2018, I am pastor of Assumption Catholic Church here in Roswell. It was always my dream to visit Roswell because 1947. And now I am looking for aliens because I am ready to baptize them.
Good deal. So that when you're in your free time, you're ready to
all the time
to find and bless aliens.
Oh yeah. And I am also ready for my blood transfusion, but still it's red.
Very good. So did the priesthood bring you to the United States, or?
Yes, I was invited, because in my family diocese in Poland, which is the Diocese of Radom, small diocese, we have still a little over 600 priests.
Okay.
So, and my bishop gave me permission to come first for 2-3 years.
Okay.
I am a little over than 13.
So they have more priests in churches, and they're like, hey, let's...
churches are on each corner, so...
And we got plenty of priests, so let's, U.S. needs some help. Let's send some priests
that way. So it is why I'm here.
Oh, well, very cool. Well, you got lucked out, I think, there.
Yes, thank you so much.
Although coming from Virginia to New Mexico is quite the culture shock in and of itself.
Yeah, so Bishop Cantu, when first invited me, he says, come and visit because this area is a little different than Virginia. He was right.
It is. I grew up in Maryland. That's where I'm originally from.
Okay, so you know it.
Very familiar with that area, too. So, and like you, I was quite surprised when I got sent here in the military. So,
but I love it because I love this weather.
Yeah.
It's dry. It's hot but dry, so you are not sweat like all the time.
Sure.
Plus, good food, wonderful people.
Hey, feel
home
spicy
is
food.
Here.
Yeah, they don't know what green chili is in Virginia. They don't know anything about that.
It's not good like here.
Very good. Good answer, Father.
Father Yark was selected in the Leadership Roswell class of 23, and I've never seen a more enthusiastic student.
Well, I got the feeling there's a reason why he's the next class president. Usually, for folks that don't know, and we'll kind of, I'll let Rick kind of explain what Leadership Roswell is, but the class president for the next class is really selected amongst his peers from your own class here. So it's kind of an honor / not it.
I think that I should set up my new email address with honor / But it is an honor, First it was the honor to be a student.
Sure.
And if you would like to learn something good, Rick is really the best leader, from whom I learned a lot.
I mean, aside from the fact that you're a man of the cloth, but just the fact that you were selected president automatic, because I know what's going on.
I am still surprised.
But it kind of instantly says, all right, you've made an impression amongst at least 30 people I know of. So.
I feel big pressure.
All right, now, with a weird in between, maybe we should let Rick kind of sort all that out. For folks that, we talk about Leadership Roswell on this program quite often, so I think a lot of our listeners do know. But for folks that have just, for whatever reason missed out or did not know or do not know, talk a little bit about exactly, and if anybody's going to tell you what it is, it's Rick. He's pretty much, It's like he didn't invent it, but he's like inventing adjacent. It's like right there. So, but Rick, good morning first off.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having us on.
But just give a little bit of background and just tell folks kind of the 50 cent what Leadership Roswell is.
Well, back in 1983, the Roswell Chamber of Commerce Board was forward thinking, and they decided to put together a leadership program for our community, and put together the first class. We got to celebrate the class of 3. It was 40 years that we've had this program.
Has it been? I know we kept saying 30-something. We've hit officially at the 4s now?
Yeah.
Okay.
This next class will be the 41st class. And basically what we do is we look for current and future leaders in the community.
Okay.
And put them together into the program and take them through. It's a 9-month program, and we're the oldest continuous program of its kind in the state of New Mexico.
Absolutely. And the part I love about it is because it really serves multiple facets for being, I mean, obviously the class is called Leadership Roswell. Leadership's right in the title. So that's goal one is giving a chance for people to be exposed to different styles of leadership, how good and bad leadership impacts what you do, things like that. So at the core, that's what you're learning. But the other side of it is you really get to see how the sausage is made in southeast New Mexico, from your city government to county government to state government to industry to nonprofit. You really to just logistics, transportation, to stuff like that. I mean, you see various facets of how things are operated in and around southeast New Mexico. Each year varies a little bit, but some classes get to go out to the law enforcement training center to go shoot guns and drive cars and learn about what they do at FLETC. Some get to go to Christmas by Krebs and see the Christmas, which you're thinking making Christmas ornaments. You think you don't realize how much proprietary and cool stuff that's involved till you get to tour that stuff. And by the way, if you have a glass bulb on your Christmas tree, odds are pretty good it came from Roswell, New Mexico. But you don't realize that till you kind of go through this kind of stuff. You know how the courts do their thing. How that's really you really get to learn about your community, who's running it, and how it's run. And so that's kind of the other side. And the third aspect is networking. That's very good. That's the side that you're going to meet 30 or 29 other people. Mm-hmm. That you may know. I mean, it's Roswell, small town. We all kind of know each other in some way, shape, or form. But you by the time you're done with the class at the end of about a year, you're going to have 29 friends or 29 people that you're going to turn to probably for the rest of your time here in Roswell, which hopefully is a long time. And but that's the whole point of it, is to show leadership, to show what our community is all about, and to make those connections so we can have nonprofits and profits and interact and both thrive and succeed. And really, at the end of the day, that's kind of the amalgamation of what Leadership Roswell is.
Yeah, you're the first person I've heard that's done a good job like that on summarizing all three of them. but the community can't rise any higher than its leaders.
Yeah, and absolutely.
So that's what we're about. And I did make a list, I'll go through real quick, of places that a typical class visits.
Okay, there you go. I was just kind of spitballing. He's got a more official list here.
But you did a good job. The Institute, the Supreme Court building, the dairy, FAA Tower, the university, the County Administrative Office building, the Roundhouse in Santa Fe, Leprino Foods, Baldwin Paint, Police Department, Christmas by Krebs, Roswell Livestock. We've gone to the Governor's Mansion, Sheriff's Department, Mystic, Double Eagle, Pecos Valley Production, Historical Society. Mm-hmm. The list goes on and on. A class a couple of years ago in their final yearbook, they made a list of all the presenters, and it was 104.
Wow.
And so I never stopped to count them until then. I've been involved 32 years.
And let me break it down, because we have, about 12 meetings altogether?
11.
11.
Yeah.
So that's 104 guests in 11 meetings.
Yeah. one of the class days, one year we had 25 presenters on one day.
Wow.
We had a lot of panels, discussions, and judges and law enforcement.
And those are great days when you get to chances to meet. Because there's some days, usually it's around those, depending, you have someone in law enforcement or someone in the law area, you have those kind of discussions, those topical issues, problems, and amongst 30 people in a room, you have an honest adult conversation about stuff like, that is a little, what's the three things, Father? Don't talk about politics, religion. That's where you go right there for that.
But it's good to ask questions, and to find some answers from people who have better understanding.
Absolutely. Well, and talking like an adult to share your opinions is a good thing. It doesn't matter if your opinions vary or are similar. We should be able, this is how this country's founded. You should be able to share those ideas and things. And we don't have to agree on them, but you should be able to have a platform to talk about them, discuss, and you might find common ground in the middle once you finish discussing everything.
It's important conversation, because if just one person is talking, it's monologue. Important is dialogue, to find some way, that other people maybe will bring others, and will listen to.
Makes sense. Yeah, you go from one's a conversation, one's just a lecture. But this is the great part about this class, is it really makes you think. It makes you, talk about it. But this is what creates the bond too, because right away it's a 1-year class. Now the commitment is basically one Friday a month. It's typically around the first Friday a month. There's a couple classes, depending on logistics, that are on a different date, but it's basically about once a month. It's all day. You'll get there about 7 in the morning, and you'll get done about 5 o'clock that evening. There is an overnight trip to Santa Fe, and I think your class was the first one to go back to Santa Fe
after 2 years.
Since the COVID outbreak and everything here. So we're back on the regular schedule. Some of those classes in between, they weren't able to go to Santa Fe, but we were able to go to Ruidoso, and I've heard tell some of those classes, like, ours is better. So,
I can tell that my class is best class ever.
That's something you kind of hear every once in a while. It's funny. We had our alumni banquet on Friday, which we had some great people we honored on Friday, and everyone that came out. I think it was another great event. Thank you to NMMI for hosting us and putting a great meal out and everything. They do it every year, but that's the thing, because that's one of those few places where you really get to meet alumni from other classes, and so every person that comes up and speaks, not all, but there's, I would say at least 80% are alum in some way, shape, or form. And so every single person. I was a class of 2016, and that was the best class ever. I'm the class of 2022. That's the best class ever. I'm the class of 1996. That was the best class ever.
I had 8 people come up and tell me that from different classes, and 2 of them ended up nose to nose.
Unfortunately, no fisticuffs. Still the best class ever.
I stepped out of that discussion because they were getting pretty serious.
Yeah, you kind of split Switzerland there. You're like, they're all my classes. I like them
all. But it is about how you can see something from different perspective, right? So everyone are true, and honest and true, because for each class is best class, right? So absolutely.
Well, and what that tells me, if you're an outsider looking at it, is like that's proof that people are investing themselves into the product.
And they enjoy also, this class, this program.
Which means that there's a lot of people that believe in what the product does. And so when I see that, that's just proof. And like Rick was saying, when you're now into the 40 years, things that are around 40 years aren't around 40 years because they're not good at it. You know what I mean? There's a reason why they've been around for 40 years. And that's the great thing about this program. It's great for... if you're a person that wants to get involved and set roots into what your home, as a leader, as just being a part of the community, Leadership Roswell is a great program. So if you own a business here in town, there's so many networking opportunities that would be beneficial for your business by being a part of Leadership Roswell. If you're a community leader, I'm a business manager at one of our tentpole businesses here in town. That networking, that ability to work and meet other people through our government, through our nonprofits, these are all opportunities to get better at your job and life through leadership, but also at the same time saying, hey, how can I make my company or my organization better through what I'm learning here? And that's the part that you can't really tell people. It just kind of happens organically within the class.
Yeah, we have 1,030 graduates. So the class before Father Yarrick's, we passed out our 1,000th graduating student, and But yeah, we've leadership throughout our community. I mean, the list is long. I just saw Sean Powell on his way to the chamber breakfast. And,
Dr. Powell's in my class, the greatest class.
In this one, yes, of course.
But the question I ask, I just post something on Facebook, is are you going to get any better, or is just it?
Yeah.
And really, our goal is it's about equipping the students in the program.
Absolutely.
Putting tools on the table in front of them and hoping they pick them up.
And you know something else, I remember when I received a letter first that someone gave my name, that maybe I will be interested to be part of this wonderful program. So immediately on my head I said yes. And but very first class, Rick, he's not just presenting, the class program. He's already starting to create, relationship, and he's teaching how we will create, another family. Because it is not just a program. You mentioned about, to have connection with, some industries or some organizations. It is wonderful because after this 9 months, I can say that I have much more helpers if I need some help, because I know whom I can ask for help. And I live already 5 years in Roswell, but now my life as a leader, it's much easier, so praise the Lord that we have this wonderful program.
Sure.
And I know that some people are interested, to join the program, they would like to apply themselves, which is absolutely amazing, because first, it is great time, and sometimes like it's not enough once a month, but also whole day, it's never enough, and I see a lot of benefits, regarding the program.
I'm sorry, Rick.
Well, the other thing that you mentioned, Santa Fe, we were back there. We also got to go to FLETC again after 2 years.
Good deal. Was that kind of locked out for COVID?
Yeah, it's actually the last class we had before COVID.
Okay.
I said goodbye to the students. I said, I'll see you in 3 weeks, and it was like 3 months.
So you got to do FLETC.
Yes, but you mentioned about shooting, but now they are using just laser, guns.
Oh.
It's not the same.
I'm not gonna lie.
But still,
that was the coolest
fun.
thing. I was in the military, and so I shot M16s, full automatic, and that's a bigger caliber gun, and
Yes.
you're shooting a gun like that,
Your arm will
Yeah. But when they handed me this 9mm full automatic gun, and I'm like, all right, and he's like, no, you can hold it like you're aiming a rifle. I'm like, this is a machine. It's going to shoot. Like, that's not how machine guns work. No. And I was shooting, aimed 30 rounds at one time when it's just like, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like, this is kind of cool. and because I was like, there's like no recoil. I'm like, I could do this all day. It was really, obviously I didn't do that.
Never ending
but I mean, that was so cool. So bummer that you only had the lasers. But anyway, but you got to drive around the cars, didn't you?
Yes.
See, I didn't get to do that because they were actually training recruits that day, and they were like, I'm sorry, we don't have room for you on the track.
It was very windy, exactly this particular day, but still we had amazing time, and to be legally over speed, whoa.
That's true. That was one of the few times you get to drive like an idiot. No one's throwing you in jail for it.
Nobody will arrest you. Nobody will give you a ticket.
That's right. So, okay, now, all right, now that we're on the table here, Father, what was, if you could pinpoint, favorite, most memorable experience of your class this last year?
And, I love to play ping pong, but, first, FLETC was absolutely amazing day.
Okay.
But I remember in November, we had the full day class in, Assurance Home.
Okay.
And it was really, really great experience because first we had no idea that there is a special goal that will be observed how we will work as a team and then individuals. And the weather first in the morning was not friendly with us because it was raining. So, we had to wait. We were afraid that something would be canceled. And we just met each other. And very quick, we started to be helpers for each other. So, we supported each other and we give a hand. So I think that it was one from the day that I really saw that even we are not yet friends, but we are already ready to give a hand,
Absolutely.
to help each other.
Well, and I imagine we could ask the guy who planned it, but I would imagine that, I know exactly what you're talking about, Father. The Assurance Home, which is one of your early classes, I believe it's the second one, if I remember
Correct.
right. First thing, a lot of people don't realize the Assurance Home is here in town, and they don't realize what literally an oasis in town it is, and it's a great organization that helps teens. And it basically, it literally is, they put them in this just family home life. It's very peaceful, quiet, and they do a lot of exercises and things that really go to team building and things. But it really helps these kids that haven't been exposed to a lot of parenting, for lack of better, and they kind of get some of that at the Assurance Home, and it turns out, but you're doing things that put you out of your comfort zone. You're going to be, climbing towers and doing things that you're like, this is not what I do, and
but also you can learn your limits.
Yeah,
because sometimes you feel like pushing them. No, just go. And then sometimes you must say no.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, I feel that I should just stop.
Sure.
So it's good that, we learned also how to be smart, because a leader, usually has some people behind you. So it's good to think about entire group.
Absolutely. But I'm imagining you do that early in the program on purpose. Yes. I think that's by design to say, hey, you want to? How do you get people to learn a lot about each other? And put them in a scenario where they got to do things that put them all out of their comfort zone a little bit,
with a lot of screaming.
And so we'll create the lava pit. And you got to navigate the bridge to get across the lava pit. How do you do that? 12 people together at once. and so that's the Assurance Home. So I understand completely. It makes complete sense, because that's that time where you're like, oh, wow, we're not just going to be sitting in a classroom and watching videos all day. There's going to be something different here.
Yeah, good exercise and a lot of learning.
Yes.
We've got a great team that works together. Margaret Kennard.
Margaret, Todd.
Todd Persiglio.
These
Andrea
folks.
Moore from the Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Irma Prez helped last year's class as president. And,
she did a great job as well, too.
Yeah.
I know her and Andrea worked well together, getting everything.
She was wonderful, yeah.
And the best benchmark for me is at the end of the year, we ask whether the program exceeded, met, or didn't meet their expectations. And last year's class, 22 said exceeded and 1 said met, and nobody said not met. And we've never had numbers like that before.
Although I would say most people take a lot out of the program. After 40 years, you're not going to bat 1,000, but I'm going to say we're batting the 800s at least. Way better than Babe Ruth, just saying.
And you've been involved. Every year, every class we have evaluations.
Yes.
And so every year we try to move it up to the next rung, or we do. And like you said, after 40 years, we've got a great program, great team putting it together.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. Now is the time to sign up for this next class. We have a deadline coming up pretty quick here, a couple weeks away, July 31st. Good news is it's pretty easy to get your applications. You can swing by the Chamber of Commerce and pick up a physical copy if you want to do it that way. You can easily go to the Chamber's website and download the copy. I always mess up websites. It's like RoswellChamber.com, right?
RoswellNM.org.
RoswellNM.org. I always get it's the city one's Roswell-NM.gov.
Yeah.
RoswellNM.org. It's all, I forget, no dash and, yeah. But anyway.
And the Chamber set up, there's a window as soon as you open that you can just click on. It's very easy.
Yeah, and then you go fill it out. Now, here's the next part I say every single time. July 31st is your deadline. Do not wait till July 31st to open up that application, fill it out, and send it in. It is an application that they want you to fill out, and they're learning about you.
Mm-hmm.
So you answer questions with yes, no, crime, and that's it. That doesn't tell us very much about you. Yep. So these questions, you don't have to write a whole essay. We don't need a thesis, but we want to see how you think and what's your opinion. And so a lot of the questions are going to be things like, obviously the personal stuff, name, dress, blah, 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 but things like, what's Roswell's greatest problem? And we want to see how you brain and what you think about that. So even if you're new to town and you're like, well, I've only been here a year or whatever, Oh, you got eyes, you got ears, you got nose. You pick up on senses and things. What is your spidey senses telling you about the town here? And so think about that. And there's not wrong answers. I mean, if your answer's kind of like, I think it's so and so, and you're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming, but we want to see thought.
Well, and your advice is very good. Every year we have more applicants than we have spots. And I call the students that don't make it. There are a couple of years where we had 2-to-1 applications to positions, and I wasn't able to call them that year. But when I call students and say, I'm sorry, there's not a spot for you, some of them say, I didn't realize it was competitive.
Yes.
But, we have 5 different people that are scoring it individually. We don't do personal interviews. So, as you said, Mike, whatever they put down on paper is all they have
That's
to go
all
by.
we have to go on.
Yeah.
And so, and I, like you said, Rick, more than 30 people apply each year. Only 30 people get in. Some years we've had 60 people apply, and we've had to tell people. I'm thinking on average, it's usually about 40 people that we get, roughly, give or take, but each class period. Now, that being said, if you're one of those people that have applied in the past, and you were one of the ones that were told we don't have room for you, apply this year. Now, I ain't gonna lie. If this is your first time applying, this might make you a little salty, but we give weight to people that have applied multiple years, more than 1 year. We want, because that tells us that you believe in the program and want to be a part of it. We want you to be a part of it. People that believe in the we want everybody to go through we're not hiding the information under a basket here and trying to keep it to ourselves. We want everybody to know about this. So we certainly want that. So if you were told no in the past, please reapply. You're going to get a few weighted points when they do the decision-making process. And the more times we said no, the greater chance that more points. And we've had a few people 4 times tried to get in and didn't. And I bet 1 or 2 have been sitting in father's seat here as well, too. Just saying.
Well, believe it or not, I didn't make it my first try. The class of '84 when I just moved to Roswell,
and there was no Rick to call him to tell him no.
I didn't do phone calls. The tuition is $650, but we have scholarships, and I don't want anyone to not apply. For that reason.
If money's an issue, we will not make an issue. We'll figure out a way to get that taken care of.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times businesses or the organization that's representing the person will pick up the tab on that one, but we can work that part out. If I think there's a thing in the application, if you need assistance or whatever, just check that, and then. When Rick says congratulations, and then he'll say, all right, now what can we help you to get this paid for?
But also big thanks to all the donors and sponsors, because
absolutely,
without these wonderful people and there is support, we'll have more limits. But we can offer more, because we have wonderful people and our local businesses, organizations who are supporting us financially. And as a new president, probably will start soon to visit some of these places.
Yeah, you're going to meet the father here.
So, yes. And with my smiling, and I
need a hat to come in hand with.
It's a good idea, to collect the money, right?
Coming with hat in hand to beg for
So thank you so much, and I am looking forward to cooperate more with you also.
Good deal. Well,
there's 2 dimensions to that. One, as Father Yarrick said, is people that step up and help underwrite the program by sponsoring a breakfast or a lunch or a bus. The other part, though, is the only way it's successful is because our community steps up. When you have 100.
Yeah, Leadership Roswell would not be happening for 40 years had it not be from the generosity and support that Rick's talking about.
We ask people to come present, ask people to open their doors, to host us, and they always say yes.
Well, and here's the thing, too, and you'll learn this as you become Rick and Margaret and Todd, and, they're planning the curriculum, where you're going and what you're doing today to day. But the class and the leadership within the class kind of run the other minutia. What's going, what are, hey, are you guys going to have a Christmas party? Are you guys going to have shirts?
Class project.
What's going to happen? Yeah, each class is, you're going to give back to the community. Who's going to be doing that in here? We're going to Santa Fe. Who's plotting and planning our activities? Because you just don't sit on a bus and sleep for 3 hours. You're doing that's 3 hours of working right there.
Oh, a lot of singing.
So really the class takes an active leadership role in just kind of the minutia of the group and the personal side and everything else. And so, that side of it is really on the class, on how that's led and run. But at the same time, these are the folks that come out and they're knocking on the businesses and knocking on these various organizations' doors. Hey, would you host us at this event? Or we've got a lunch. Could you provide lunch for 30 for an afternoon here? And because of the generosity of those people each and every year, because I'm sure there's certain business like, oh, here they come again, those Leadership Roswell people. But time in, time out, they support and generously provide and help, and that's the difference between. We have 40 years of Leadership Roswell, and hey, every year we're trying to get this thing happening, but we can't get it off the ground. It's that reason, though. So big thank you to them, and Father here's going to be knocking on your doors pretty soon, folks. Out
I
there.
promise. And thank you.
But that being said, we really want to get 30 of the best people to sign up for this class. Trust me, it doesn't matter if you've been here your whole life or if you just moved here last month. I think you will take great benefit from all aspects of the program, from the leadership side, from the learning about your community side. Even if you've been here 30 years, I guarantee there's aspects of this community you're like, I never even realized that's what's been going on over here, and I've been here my whole life.
First reason is to learn, but second is how we can serve our community, which means to make our city, better place to live.
And to be honest, and you'll learn this, and Father just learned this kind of, or was exposed to this little lesson now. When you graduate from Leadership Roswell, that's the beginning. That's not the end. That's the whole point of this is now go forth and make our community better. That's it. Get involved. Whatever your passions are, whether it's sports and youth, whether it's homeless or domestic violence, whether it's business and money and finance, whatever it is, go back to those circles and make it better for our community. And
so after 9 months, we have graduation, but it is not really graduation, it's just very beginning.
Exactly. And and I imagine because of what you do for your life, you have a servant's heart. So I think you and Leadership Roswell are a match made in heaven here. So I as much as I think Leadership Roswell appreciates what you do, I think it's like, well, you can't have one without the other sometimes, And so I got to ask Rick, I'm just curious because just gee whiz, you've been doing this for 40 years. I remember
32 years.
32 years. I'm sorry. At one point, you're going to say, you know what? I'm just, I'm going to retire. I'm going to go and see the world and how many more years of this you got in you, Rick? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
God knows.
God knows I don't.
We're all dreading that day, but nonetheless.
I love it so much. If it stops being fun, I'll give some notice and make sure there's a good transition. But I enjoy it so much right now.
Because that's the one thing I always think is like, at some point he's going to want to live his life and do his thing. He's going to say, guys, I'm done with this. And what are we going to do next?
Well, we do a lot of traveling, but we never travel the first Friday of the month.
All I'm saying is folks like Todd Margaret better get ready because I think that big pile is going to go into your lap when that happens. But it's an amazing program. Trust me. Every month you're going to be excited to see what you get into each time and the people you meet. I think that makes it just as much fun as you make friends and day one you're interacting and learn. Within the first 20 minutes of starting Leadership Roswell, you're up and about meeting and greeting and moving and talking about everybody, and it just goes from there till a year later when you're sitting at a banquet and everyone's graduating here. And it goes by fast, but it's a busy thing. And here's the thing. You do have to have that commitment of basically 1 day a month, all day. You're going to have to be away from work or whatever. For this to work, you have to commit to that. You can't come to some and come to none. You gotta commit to it. So please, if you don't think you have the time, let's reserve it for someone that knows that can commit the time. That being said, if you can commit the basically a day a month, then by all means, please apply. please get on our radar. Even if you don't get in this year, we want to stay in touch. We want, being a leader and having a great community is all about making connections and things like that. And so, at some point, our paths will cross, and we want to make it the best experience for both of us. So please.
But as you said, the timeliness is important. It's 3 weeks from yesterday, the 31st of this month, that Monday at 5. And every year I get contacted a day or two after the deadlines, and someone says, "When's the deadline?"
You just passed it.
Yeah, I says, "Where do I submit it?" But to be fair to everyone who can manage their time better.
Well, that's just it. Part of now being a leader is being responsible, and if you can't follow the instructions the way they are given, it's a red flag.
Yeah,
that's what we're. I'm not saying that your life happens, you get busy and you mess up. Yeah, but this is how we learn about you, and if you're one of those folks that if it's going to go wrong. You know what I mean? There's certain people that it's just, and a lot of it is just, if you just do this much modicum of organization or planning, you go from that person to always being the one with your hair on fire to the one that's like sitting there waiting, like, oh yeah, I've been calm, cool, and collected for 20 minutes now, and
But you gave good advice earlier. I mean, now's the time to do it.
Do it now.
What happens a lot of times, people will wait till the 31st, and then they don't get it done. So
absolutely, I just saw the times like, oh dang, they're about to kick me off the radio.
Sometimes it's not enough to be on time. We should be before time.
That's right. If you're on time, you're late. That's what I was told the military. And matter of fact, there's a great time management segment that's part of Leadership Roswell. Maybe we should move that to early too. Like maybe that day you're learning everybody. Sorry, let's go right to time management. But anyway, again, go to the Chamber's website. Come by the Roswell Chamber. Again, July 31st, 5 p.m. when the chamber closes that Friday for the day. That's the
Monday.
That Monday.
Yeah.
It's a drop dead deadline. No. Can I do it tomorrow? No. It's it. That's cut off, and then whatever applications we have will be presented to the selection committee, and they go about the process of selecting the next group here.
Yeah.
So, but please consider, and another good piece of advice. Get recommendations.
Yeah.
You go and people coaches, bosses. If you happen, I kind of looked out. I was a radio guy, so I knew the mayor and a couple other people like that. So it kind of helps when you can throw those letters in. But yeah, any character witnesses, good character representations, obviously. Please, by all means, include that with your application. It definitely adds to your case there. So
yeah. It's not required, but as you said, it's good. It's a good idea.
Sure, if it
shows the applicant's real serious.
If you get the card, play it. That's all I'm saying. This application is really to brag about you. Don't hesitate. I know some of us feel a little, and I'm one of them. I don't want to, show my light or whatever the sayings are. But this one, be braggadocious on yourself. It's okay. That's what we want to know about you. So.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to mention before anything that we just spaced on?
No, I think your level of knowledge is so high. I'm so impressed.
Well, you go through the class. You did pick up a thing.
I'm not sure I need to be here, but I think we've covered it real well. But I just want to tell you, Mike, on behalf of the community, thank you so much for all you do. I enjoy listening to you each morning, and
thank you.
You do a good job of bringing people through here, and you've got to have the highest level of knowledge of what's going on in the city.
or I know just enough to be dangerous, and that could be a problem.
But keep up the good job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a product of what I learned from, and Leadership Roswell was part of that. So you're to blame. Thank you, guys.
It's a very special mission. So
it is. It's a great thing, and trust me, folks, you're going to be very happy. Sign up, get your applications in. And July 31 is the absolute deadline here. So, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Off to your busy days.
Of a day or a year.
Going on. Leadership Roswell.
It's the calling of our lifetime, of all time. We are steeled for the struggle ahead.
Our unity will not falter, I promise you.
Unsettled weather all across the United States. A tornado touching down yesterday near Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, prompting a number of passengers to take shelter. No reports of any injuries, but a number of flights were either canceled or at least delayed. And in California, that heat wave that's been scorching much of the area, bringing triple-digit temperatures, likely to get worse. Forecasters now say the blistering conditions today will continue to build through the weekend. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Recent bank failures are serving as a warning about how fragile our banking system really is. As millions of Americans panic, do you know what central banks are doing? Well, they're actually buying up gold at record levels. They're relying on it as a safe haven during these difficult times. That's how confident they are in the dollar. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian author and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. We're all Americans who want to protect our family's savings no matter what. I tell people the best option is to diversify their 401k or IRA into physical gold or silver with the help of Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, just text the word FAITH to the number 989898 to get a free information kit on gold IRAs. Look, there's no strings attached. It's not going to hurt you to take action now. So take the first step today and educate yourself. Get your free info kit when you text FAITH to 989898 right now. And I pray you and your family are greatly blessed.
We are learning more about a very daring escape from jail. Authorities now say a drone may have been flying near a Pennsylvania jailhouse before Michael Burnham was able to break out.
Authorities are seeking information about a drone that may have been operating near a northwestern Pennsylvania jail before the escape of 34-year-old Michael Burnham last week. And they say they have increasing concerns that he may be armed. The drone was heard by a couple of people, although a drone was not visible on any of the security footage. Burnham fled the Warren County Prison late Thursday by climbing on exercise equipment, climbing through a window, and then down a rope fashioned from jail bedding. He had been held on $1 million bail and was facing numerous charges, including kidnapping and burglary. A reward has been offered for information that helps lead to his capture. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to it. Hope your Thursday's going very well.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually a show on Netflix I want to check out called Quarterback. And it follows, it's kind of like, I haven't watched it yet, but it looks kind of like a Hard Knocks thing.
Right.
But instead of following a team, they're following a couple players. Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and I can't remember the third.
Okay.
But people say it's kind of interesting.
Following the training regimens. The whole
just
basically the day in the life of.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Okay.
So it premiered on Netflix last day or two. So
is it episodic or is it?
It is, but I think all episodes are up there.
Okay.
I don't think they're releasing weekly ones. They just threw it up there. So
gotcha.
So it looks interesting. I think I'm going to check that out. Eventually, that's. Now, and I think when we were talking about our direct TVs and all that thing, so I talked with my wife, and I talked, but he set on, so we're going to keep our direct TV, and I'm just going to add the YouTube Sunday ticket. Because you can get it by itself for like $300.
Is it that much still?
Well, direct TV was still around $300 too when you bought it, $250, $300. So that's about right for it. Now,
sports.
They had a plan, and this is what I was talking to my wife about, where you can get YouTube TV, which gave 100 channels, and it's $70 a month.
Right.
Which I'm paying, I think, $90 for what I'm getting now, which is like 115 channels or something. But, but you know, and I tried to tell her, I was like, it's gonna look, but instead of turning on the TV. And it's going to be TV. It's going to be a menu, and you hit the thing that says Apple or the.
If you're talking about YouTube TV,
yeah,
no, it's channel. You change channels. It's got like
but to turn on the TV, you got to go to the app first.
Yeah.
And that's not how she operates. She's like, turn on TV channel. TV comes on.
Added step.
Channel. Yeah, and so that's how she's set. And so, even though it would be very,
what you need to do is get her an old-fashioned tube TV.
Yeah,
which won't get a signal anymore. Really.
So that's the route we've gone.
I think you can open it through the YouTube TV app too. It just depends on how you sign in.
Yeah. There's but with the new TV we got, the LG we just bought it, and it asks you how you want it to. You know, do you want to start with TV or do you want to start with your home page? And so we've got our set for TV because that's how my wife likes it. But I told her, I said, all you do is hit the little house button on the remote, and then all that stuff shows up, and you just select it, and there it goes. I was like, that's it. And even that was a little like kind of like that. So
it's added steps, Mike.
Yeah, so
can't do it. I understand. I get convenience 100%. When you're in your zone and you want to just have things the way they are, you want them the way they are.
I'm hoping. I shouldn't tell all my plans in the public like this, but I'm hoping because right now DirecTV's fighting with a bunch of networks, and we don't have CBS, we don't have Fox, we don't have CW.
See,
that's of the 5 really regular channels. We're missing 3 of them.
That right there alone makes sticking with DirecTV not worth it because you get all those with YouTube TV.
Yeah, I know, but I had this discussion.
I don't.
And we do watch those networks a lot. You don't realize it until you don't have it, and then I'm like, oh dang,
because of you being a Big Brother fan and the way that Kim consumes the nightly news, I completely understand.
Yeah, we are kind of, and I realized how little I watch ABC and NBC compared to Fox and CBS. Because
sure,
I'm like, what was on tonight? Oh, what we usually watch is on Fox, or what we usually watch on CBS.
By the way, today is a pretty big day in the world of SAG-AFTRA.
What is that?
There's SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild.
Oh, okay.
There's a very
never heard that term before.
There's a very real possibility that today they're going on strike. That the actors.
I knew the writers
they've been on
strike, and the actors were
because the studio executives, David Zaslav and all the studio heads got together and essentially said the quiet part out loud. They said, "We're going to hold out." Because we can hold out longer than you can, you're going to get hungry and lose your apartments and get desperate, and then come negotiations this fall,
So they're just trying to strengthen the.
But they actually said the evil the evil genius part out loud. It's like, y'all should have maybe kept that to yourself if that was the card you were playing. You played your hand a little too soon.
I thought Zaslav was one of the good ones.
No, they're none of them are good ones. But no, they're all about making money, and it comes right down to it. But yeah, the SAG-AFTRA's hold down. The big thing is when it comes to streaming, like streaming rights and royalties, and also the advent and potential of AI to take jobs away. So they want to make sure all those are established, that this can't happen, and we get paid more for streaming, because basically all their stuff is tied into the 2007 strike when they struck for, TV.
Sure. Well, something has to be done when it comes to this, virtual reality stuff and all that. Because in theory, Al Pacino could do a movie, and Al Pacino never showed up on set to do anything.
Right.
And that's where they're like, well, should Al Pacino get paid? Yes, he should.
And something definitely needs to be done in that realm for sure.
Yeah.
But the other thing is since that contract was negotiated, we consume TV in a completely different way now. The cable, the satellite, it's left to a few outliers who don't like to push extra buttons. It's those folks that are keeping it alive, and we now consume our TV through
we'll be
streaming
dead soon,
services.
don't worry.
Same, dude, same. People consume TV in different ways now, and so it's led to there should be more money being made. Like one actor said that for Jurassic World, when he gets his royalty checks for like cable reruns, they usually net about $1,400 a month. The checks for the streaming of Jurassic World, he said he gets about $40 a month.
Oh wow!
So he said that drastic difference in pay is.
Well, I'd like to see the numbers.
Sure.
Like, are more eyeballs seeing on network TV versus seeing it on a streaming service?
I can't imagine.
I could.
I think it depends on the shows.
It's one of those things
I think certain movies, you absolutely, because there is many people that don't have 37 streaming things. They've got TV, and that's it. And that's more popular than you realize. And I think that most folks, especially movies like Jurassic World, they're literally channel surfing, and they're like, there's something to stop on. Whereas online, they're specifically looking to watch that. And so I don't think as many people are watching
and I would argue you're probably right with more eyeballs on the product. But for it to be that like 1,400 versus 40, I mean, there's that drastic of a difference, then something needs to be renegotiated for sure.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Right.
But I'd like to see the numbers before I need to know how skewed that
one example is just one example.
Yeah. Because I really think more. I mean, how many times do people see? Oh yeah, I saw it on cable one day. A lot of times, especially movies.
Right.
A lot of times, movies you watch them because you stumble upon them, unless that's specifically something you wanted in your. But most movies are like, oh, it's a comedy. We're killing 2 hours. That looks fun. Let's watch that.
Right.
And so. I don't think. I mean, some streaming I've been there too, where I'm like, I don't know what to watch. This looks good. Let's watch that.
Right.
But I don't think as many people do that on streaming. Most people are like, I'm here for a specific thing. I want to see the new episode of a blank.
Yeah, and it's also again just based on the way that I would say that young people don't stumble into as many movies as it used to be. Back in my day, your day. I'd be scrolling along and hey, there's Empire Records. Hey, it just started 10 minutes ago. Let's check this out.
That's younger people may not be in that, but I think they are just in their stuff. Like Roy, I imagine I know you're most of the time on the computer watching all your content, but occasionally when you're on TV, if you're scrolling through channels and all of a sudden some movie you hadn't seen in years pops on, you're stopping and watching it, right?
Yeah, I'm actually watching a new show right now.
Is it when you stumbled on? Or did you seek it out?
It premiered.
Well, I'm saying, were you scrolling through like Netflix or whatever, and you saw something like, "Ooh, this looks interesting," and you started watching it, or was it something that you had known about and you're like, "Let me seek this out"?
I knew about it weeks before it. It
See,
premiered.
that's kind of what I'm saying is the younger generations today are more like, I'm going to get educated online about what I'm seeking out, and then I'm going to seek it out.
Well, and I think part of that too is just what's our go-to form of entertainment. Like people our age and younger, or slightly younger and slightly older, you grew up in a world where there wasn't a computer handy, or there wasn't, it was. So literally, the television was the centerpiece in your house. And like in 1989, every household had at least one TV, probably had 3 or 4. And everyone was watching, and you know, we grew up, and plus it's appointment television.
Right.
That was the other thing. You know, you wanted to watch Dukes of Hazzard, you better be in front of your TV at 8 o'clock on Thursday night or Friday night or whatever it is.
It taught kids time zones because I had to figure out, you know, what 8/7 Central meant.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait.
See, now that's where I'm a little different than you guys. Because I grew up in the East Coast.
Right.
So everything was the time. They said it's on at 7.
Which
it's
is
on
weird,
at 7.
though, because then you guys had, like, your news at 11.
Yeah, our television program in the East Coast, primetime TV starts at 8 p.m.
It goes into the 10 o'clock hour, which always struck me as
all the shows that
odd.
come on at 7 o'clock here that are
my whole life
start at 8.
Even when I grew up in Central Time Zone, the primetime block always started at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, see, not East Coast. It's 8 o'clock.
I remember this vividly. You had an hour of The Simpsons from 5 to 6. That's what I would watch. Then my dad would flip it over to Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune from 6 to 7. And then we'd switch over to, usually, if it was Tuesdays, Survivor Night. So we switched over to CBS.
Yeah,
that was very regimented appointment television.
Well, and like football games, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. That's the game times, not 11 and 2 or like here. It's 1 and 4. Monday Night Football didn't start till 9 o'clock at night.
That's crazy.
And that's why people talk about staying up late for Monday Night Football, because sometimes it's 1 in the morning for those games would end. That's just a thing back east. That's just how it is.
So do morning shows over there start at 7?
6.
See? So the morning shows still start out.
Some start before 6.
Right,
Some will start 5:30 in the morning or whatever. But yeah,
I get that, but I'm just curious because if everything else is kind of adjusted that hour.
But then also, life starts earlier there. Like they go to bed later, but rush hour and everything 5 in the morning in the DC area, there's traffic.
Wow,
it's just that's how it is.
See, I'm so used to quiet morning drives.
It's you're also living in a world where there's 10 times more people than you experience here, and it's if everybody's up and about at that time, then it's just part of the normal routine, and so that was always a thing, you know. So, but generally speaking, I think people go to bed earlier than they do in the East and all that because they literally stay up for the 11 o'clock.
Well, it's because we have to wake up in the morning to mill grain. in these neck.
Well, they got to get up in the morning to drive 2 hours to a dead end job.
Yeah, but yeah, no, my
traffic for 2 hours.
My whole life, I was in the central or was in the either central or mountain time zone, so it's always been the time that the programming block started was 7 o'clock. That's just universal.
Yeah, no,
so it's such a weird concept.
Unless it's changed since I moved away 20 some years ago, but yeah, no. Primetime TV started at 8 p.m.
Just like I couldn't necessarily get used to 6 p.m. being the start time in California.
Matter of fact, like when I go back and visit now, sometimes and like there's shows that like say on Discovery Channel I watch that come on 7, 8 o'clock at night here. You either have to catch them at 4 o'clock or 9 o'clock. You know, because you catch actually like how a lot of those channels will replay the episode 3 hours later, like Discovery and Learning Channel, and so you usually catch the encore version of it in what would be kind of your prime time there on the East Coast. I imagine West Coast folks have the same issue.
Yeah, it's just flipped
because
the other way.
For them, football starts at like 10 in the morning. You know, that's crazy. You know, like I imagine churches have a harder time during football season in California than they do, say, in Virginia. You know,
it's like, oh, so you guys are competing for the exact same block.
Yeah. We're going to play our interview we had with Joan Bouet with the Chaves County Federated Republic of Women. Oh, by the way, if you were listening to the Robert Sherman interview from the Walker Aviation Museum, he called me yesterday to let me know that during that interview we talked about the donate now button on the website and all that, how they were under construction reworking that. Well, it's working and back to full operation. So if you're so inclined to want to help out the Walker Aviation Museum, go to wafbmuseum.org. There is a Donate Now button that is active and working now. So if you'd like to help out, good way to do that. But anyway, we're going to play our interview with Joan Bouet. She joined us yesterday to talk about the next Chaves County Federated Republican Women meeting, which will take place next Wednesday at the Convention and Civic Center. So we'll play that for you here in just a bit. Before we do that, though, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and hot today. Our afternoon highs between 105 and 110. We do have a slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm. Overnight it'll be cloudy, mid-70s, and then between 105 and 108 for the highs on Friday, and we will get sunshine. Low 100s for the high on Saturday, and sunny on Sunday, and about 100. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 89 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 33%. Winds at the moment out of the west at 3 miles per hour. We do have a heat advisory that's going to kick in at noon today through 8 p.m. In case you need a reminder, it's going to be hot. We do have a chance at rain this afternoon, a 30% chance at some scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly after 3 o'clock today. Partly cloudy with a high of 107 otherwise, with winds out of the north 5 to 15 miles per hour. 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms for tonight as well, mainly before 9 p.m. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 77 degrees, west winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, mostly sunny, high of 109. Tomorrow, winds will be out of the south at around 5 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny and a high of 102. East winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high of 101. So I guess you say if you want to call it a break, a bit of a break for the weekend. And then back to 107 on Monday, 110 next Tuesday, 107 next Wednesday. Gonna be hot. All right, it is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a quick 2.5-minute commercial break. Then we're going to play our interview here with Joan Bouye talking Chaves County Federated Republican Women. Don't go away.
Yup, it's back to school season again, and Roswell Honda wants to get you geared up with the 6th annual Roswell Honda Back to School Blowout. Now through July 28th, stop by Roswell Honda and get your kids registered to receive a backpack chock full of supplies absolutely free. Then on July 29th, join Roswell Honda from 10 to 1 for the Back to School Bash with lots of free food and fun stuff for the whole family. While you're there, register to win a brand new office chair, a desk, and even an HP laptop. Register now for the Back to School Blowout at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Have you ever had someone do something kind and out of the ordinary for you? How did that make you feel? I know for me, it brightens my day. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for the Joy of Marriage.
Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not get tired of doing what's right, for after a while we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up." I've learned when you don't know what to do, just do the next right thing. Keep sowing good things into your spouse and your family. Be patient. God promises He will give you a harvest. It will make a difference. A successful farmer just keeps on working and expects to have a great harvest.
I know when my husband brings me flowers, it blesses me. So do something unexpected for your spouse. It will pay off.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
The ultimate Wi-Fi experience is now available to you thanks to Smart Home Wi-Fi with Plateau. Get fiber-to-home technology 100 times faster than the average household internet speed. Plateau has multiple plans to fit your family. With Fast, get true 100 megs per second download and upload speed. With Faster, get 500 megs. And with Fastest, get 16 gigs of download and upload speed. Learn more at plateautel.com. Get the speed you need with Plateau. Tried, true.
Need new
trusted.
windows for your home? Beware of the sales gangster. Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing and Windows here. A sales gangster is a window salesperson with the mobster mentality. They intimidate, bully, and fast talk you into buying their less than quality windows during a 3-hour pitch. Think I'm kidding? Call a few window companies and see for yourself. Or you can skip the sales gangsters and call Trustmark. We have fair, no-nonsense pricing on our premium windows, and our appointments take only about 60 to 75 minutes. Just long enough to listen to what you need, show you your options, answer your questions, and give you a straightforward quote. Then it's up to you. We can take a no just as easy as a yes, but I'll guarantee you this: no sales gangsters. Sound fair? Call Trustmark Roofing and Windows for your no-obligation spring window assessment. 575-755-7663 or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines. Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it?
Absolutely. Good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Chaves County Federated Republic of Women. That takes two breaths to say all that. Joan Bouet is back with us. Good morning, Joan.
Good morning, Mike. I am delighted to be here this very hot day.
It is a bit warm. I mean, it's already 7:20 in the morning, and we're already in the 80s. So
my goodness,
that's the cool part of the day.
It's going to be wicked.
These 110s, 107s, just lots of fluids, and stay cool as best you can. That's all you can do on this, and certainly. Look out for your seniors and folks that are, especially people on blood pressure medications.
Interesting.
Generally, people on blood pressure, not all blood pressures, but a lot of them affect your ability to tolerate heat. So watch out on your relatives that are hopped up on the blood pressure meds.
I also know I'm asthmatic, and I know
that can't be good
it
either.
is tough for me some days.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Using the inhaler.
And especially where we live above sea level.
Exactly.
Where I imagine if you're down on the East Coast or down New Orleans or something, it may be not quite as bad on you. But
you're right.
But when you get higher up, it's definitely a little trickier for
the air is
asthma.
thinner.
Yeah. That's kind of why kickers like to play for the Denver Broncos, because their balls are like 10 yards farther than everybody else. So.
Exactly.
But anyway, for folks that are not familiar, the Chaves County Federated Republic of Women is a nonprofit organization that serves, it does a couple roles. First, it serves the Republican Party of New Mexico in helping to raise awareness for Republican candidates and getting information to people and things like that. But also is a community service side where you're working with local organizations in our community. And so kind of when it's a lull in the elections, then you guys are working on their youth and working on local projects and things, while at the same time keeping an eye on the legislature and getting ready for the next election cycle. So is that pretty accurate, or did I miss some stuff?
No, you're right on. It is our mission always to inform and educate the Republican voter about the candidates, about issues, whether it's local issues, county issues, statewide and nationally.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned that we do some stuff in our community. I would like to mention that we were on the 4th of July. We delivered goodie bags to the Assurance Home.
Great place. They do great work over there.
They do a marvelous job, and we've been doing this for 12 years, Mike. I started that when I was president.
That's kind of one of y'all's, I guess you could say, pet projects.
It is. Yeah. It definitely is, and. I'd like to say a little thank you to First American Bank and Pioneer, who made donations this time.
Nice. Again, you always hear certain businesses and organizations in our community when there's events going on, and those two, Pioneer, you always hear, First American, you always hear a lot of times when somebody's having a golf tournament or some charity event, those two names are constantly mentioned as supporting our community. So it does not surprise me.
They gave us enough money that we could buy gift certificates this year.
Good.
And lots of goodies from Pioneer Bank.
Awesome.
So I give a thank you shout out.
Absolutely. Well, again, another locals and helping locals kind of thing.
We do.
Absolutely.
We do.
One of the other parts we also want to spotlight a little bit is if you are wanting to get involved politically, helping, supporting candidates and things. The Chaves County Federated Republic of Women is a good resource for that, too. Obviously, it's a little quiet right now as, people are thinking, mulling, declaring for the next election cycle here. But when we get to a point where people start, coming forward and when it's time to declare, they're going to do that. And at that point, they're going to need a major support system for them. Now, like the Republican Party in New Mexico, you guys kind of stay neutral through the primary season.
Exactly.
However, if you're like, hey, I really like what candidate X is doing, do you have anybody I can get in touch with so I can support them more? Chaves County Federal Republic, absolutely. Let's get you in touch with their campaign people and let them talk to you, and you can see whatever you can do to help them.
Well, we do have an election coming up in November.
Yes, not as presidential. And
no, school board and city council.
which are probably more important in your day-to-day life than the presidential race.
I agree.
Yeah.
It affects us more than the presidential election.
Absolutely. The day-to-day policies that come out of city council and the school board are going to impact your life on a greater level. Now, obviously, with city elections, those are, and really both these elections are not really Republican, Democrat per se, but the values that both parties represent are very much in play in the elections.
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
So consider that when you do make your decisions here in November, and and of course the Chaves County Federated Republican Women will absolutely be a resource for you when it comes to try to learn about the candidates and learn to help make the right decision on who to pick.
We will start showcasing them in August and September. Once they declare, we will be having them come and speak.
Yeah, it's all rumors till then.
It's a lot of rumors out there right now.
Well,
a lot.
If there aren't a lot of rumors and you're involved in politics, you're kind of not doing it right. That's the way it feels anyway. But anyway, you do not have to wait till August to get involved with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. They meet monthly. They meet the third Wednesday of the month. That's why they always come in the second Wednesday on the radio to remind people. But this time next week, about lunchtime, around 11 o'clock or so, the monthly meeting for the Chaves County Federated Republican Women will take place, and they always have a great meal offering before, and then as you're finishing up eating, they start the lectures and talking, and generally each month focuses on either education on legislature about what's going on up in Santa Fe, or recaps of like a couple months ago after the legislative session, all of our local legislators were there to kind of give the good, the bad, the ugly from the legislative session. So each month is really educational about what's going on in our state, in our county, in our community, and then like you said, as we get closer to candidates declaring and things, it'll be an opportunity for various candidates to talk to the folks, and you get to ask questions and really learn about these candidates.
Well, I'd love to tell you who's coming to our meeting this month.
What's on tap for this next Wednesday?
This next Wednesday, we will have our district attorney, Diana Luce.
She's an awesome person to talk to.
She's wonderful.
I had an opportunity to interview her a couple months ago here on the radio, and each month we started the deal where we get to talk to the district attorney's office each month, just kind of just educating the public on how the sausage is made, kind of thing. And she was one of our guests one month, and
wonderful.
she's a wealth. Of course, her home base is down in the Hobbs area and stuff, so it was nice when she comes up to Roswell. And
I believe she has Chaves, Eddy, and Lee County.
Yeah, we're all under the same 5th Judicial District.
Exactly.
I believe. Yeah.
And what we have asked her to talk about specifically, which is huge, is crime in Chaves County, number one. The other thing that was somewhat of an interest is how and why deal pleas are made.
That's a great conversation because, again, that's how the sausage is made. I know when we're on the outside looking in and we hear the news and we see or read the paper and see the news and you hear how a court case went, or especially if it's a high profile murder case or something that has got the public's attention, and then you hear about the plea deals and you're like, well, who the heck? And I know it can be infuriating from the outside looking in, but once you understand all the details, it makes a little more sense. So
it does.
To have the district attorney come in and kind of explain that to you, there's not really a better resource than that. So.
We also have a lady who's coming in from Angel Fire. Her name is Anise Golden Morper.
Okay.
And Anise is on our state board.
Okay.
And I'm also on that state board as second vice president.
Okay.
And she will be talking about an Americanism project that's going on statewide.
Okay, so this is kind of a Republican Women state level
Exactly.
event. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Because each, like you have the Republican Women, the Chaves County Federated Republican, well, there's the New Mexico Federated Republican Women.
Exactly.
And hopefully at some point each county has its own, but there's each regional different ones. So.
We have 18 clubs statewide.
Okay.
I am the membership chair, so it's important for me to keep getting those numbers up, Mike.
Absolutely.
That is my job.
Well, and if you look at the state, as a whole, and we talk, and you and I have talked about this, New Mexico, just be nice to get back to the middle. We've been so liberal the entire existence of this state that the corruption and everything has been there's no checks and balances. That's the problem. And regardless if you're the most liberal of thinkers or the most conservative of thinkers, you need the balance for good government to happen. You really do.
I totally agree. Yeah. I wish we could come back to the middle. I wish that both sides of the aisle would be willing to work with each other, and I don't see that happening.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, and I get it. I mean, people on the, if you're conservative or you're liberal, and those people that are kind of have a foot in both worlds can be annoying. I get it. I understand that. But I also believe that human beings don't think blindly one way and one or the other. I think all of us, you take everything the Republicans say and everything the Democrats say. I think if every person, you're going to find at least one or two on the opposite side of what you consider yourself. You know what I mean?
And that by the same token, don't you think we find some commonality?
Exactly. That's the other thing is
in how we
at the end of the day, I think there's more in common than more separated. I mean, all of us want the best for our families.
Absolutely.
All of us want to live in a place that we're proud of, that we feel safe in, that we feel like we want to do whatever we want to do, and we can do it in a place that we can thrive in. We all want a fair chance to make our claim in this world.
True.
That's and we just don't agree on how to do that. But if we can all agree that's what we want, that's a starting point. It's like, hey,
that would be wonderful.
We all can agree we want a good place. Let's start there. Let's all come with the points. What makes it great? Okay, this, and this. Let's foster that. What's the parts that are holding it down? Okay, that's where we got to work on it. And that's really how good government should work.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I would like to tell you always like to know what we're going to eat.
Yes, I'm a food guy. I always like to know what's on tap, and they usually have pretty good food over there.
Well, in reality, it's been so hot, I decided we needed a cool meal.
Some more salads and things.
Well, we're going to have a meat, cheese, and bread tray, so people can pretty much build their own sandwich. We'll have some cold salads.
Nothing wrong with cold cuts and salads.
Exactly.
It's the summer.
Desserts, tea, and water. And the fee for that is $16. Yeah. You do not have to eat to come to our meeting. You can arrange just to have a seat.
Sure. But what's going to happen is you're going to smell everything, and everybody's
going to want to eat.
You're like, dang, I should have got a salad.
You're going to want to eat.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. You don't need, if you just want to come to hear the discussions, please come do that. But if it is your lunch hour and you're like, I got to go back to work, well, grab you a sandwich and let's kill two birds here.
I might mention we open at 11:30. The doors open at 11:30. We start right at noon, and we recognize that there are a lot of people that do have to get back to work. And by 10:01, we're pretty much finished.
Sure. Now, don't forget though, especially with the guest speakers, they're usually there, so you can talk to them before or a little bit after if their schedules allow.
Absolutely. They are always willing to stay and talk with people.
So even if you don't have to get out quick, you can hang out and chit-chat for a little bit.
Stick around.
Yeah. But if you got a busy crunch schedule, we'll get you in and out the door in a timely fashion.
We try to do that.
Yeah.
Mike, we have a fundraising event come up. I'm wondering if I could talk a little bit.
Absolutely. Yes.
12 years ago when I was president, I started the Cowboy Prom.
This has kind of been a tradition here in Chavez County for about 12 years now.
12 years. We do not ever fundraise on an election year. We feel that the monies need to go to the candidates.
Gotcha.
So this will be our 6th biennial Cowboy Prom.
Gotcha. So it's not annually, it's biannual.
Exactly. And it will be on Saturday, September the 16th. It will be at the Convention Center.
Okay.
The band will be the Graham Brothers, who are from Ruidoso.
Yeah.
They've been here a couple times, and people seem to like them.
They do definitely get the boot scooting and people up and dancing, that's for sure.
They do. We will have a silent auction and a live auction.
And they usually have great stuff.
I'll tell you, Peppers is going to do a fabulous meal for us.
They always do great food every time.
They do wonderful food.
I know I do a lot because I serve on the Historical Society board and do a lot there, and pretty much anytime we have an event, Peppers is our catering partner, and every time I don't know what's on the menu.
I can tell you.
But if they're shrimp, they're always the biggest shrimp on the planet.
Well, this is more of a country western menu.
Gotcha, so no shrimp. More
We're
steak.
having green chili brisket,
All right, can't go wrong with brisket.
tequila lime chicken,
Nice.
whipped potatoes, green beans, a salad, rolls and butter,
Fit for a king cowboy.
and dessert.
Oh, yeah, can't go wrong. You got to have dessert.
So if anyone is interested, Mike, and would like more information, they can call 575-420-8455.
And I imagine if you are wanting to be a sponsor or like to donate items for the silent auction, call that same number.
Absolutely.
And Joan would be happy to take your call.
We will be delighted to talk with. Yes, the tickets, by the way, are $70 per person.
Okay.
I think that's very
Do
reasonable.
they have like a table of 8 for $500
table of
or
8
something?
for $800.
$800, there you go.
Yes, and that would be a table sponsor.
Very good. So if you want to maybe honor your business or organization and invite part of your group, say, hey, come out and dinner and dancing and let's help out the Chaves County Fair Republican women and dance and eat meat all night.
They might be happy to hear. We are not going to have speakers. We truly want this to be
Just a fun night.
fun evening.
Good deal.
A fun evening. I might mention that some of the 4-H young people have asked if they could come.
Oh, good.
So I think we're going to use them to help us decorate.
Oh, good deal.
And then have them come and dance with us.
Well, a lot of those 4-H kids, they're the future leaders of America right there. And when they're learning their various activities through their 4-H clubs and things, it's not all farming and ranching, by the way. I mean, yeah, farming and ranching and 4-H are ingrained together, but you could be a part of 4-H and not once set foot in a barn or touch an animal. So.
Well, you remember Ava, who came with me last month?
Yes.
She is with 4-H, and when she heard about this, she said, Miss Bouet, can we come too? And I'm like, absolutely. So we are encouraging our young people to come.
And by the way, that's the other thing too that we were talking about. You guys do have like your I don't know what the proper term is, but basically they're young high school age students that kind of are like junior members, and in essence they work for scholarships and stuff, and so they kind of learn how the sausage is made at that elementary level, get involved in charities and civic stuff here. And, they're scholarships and stuff, too. So that's another side of by supporting the cowboy prom and everything like that.
We gave out 3 scholarships this year.
Good deal.
As you know, we had a contest on what is patriotism.
Yes, and we actually had the student that won, and we got to hear her essay. And, again, it was amazing.
She is amazing.
She sounded wiser than some 56-year-olds.
Be careful. And the other thing that we do, we donate books to the library every year, which in our name. And, of course, the Assurance Home is our really one of our pet deals.
Thanks to Leadership Roswell, I got a chance to really learn what goes on at the Assurance Home. And,
wonderful.
Because a lot of people aren't fully aware of the great work they do. It's literally this oasis in Roswell. It's in the heart of Roswell. There's this beautiful, just a beautiful farm facility that's woods and trees and shade and grass
and horses
and what they do is teenagers that are kind of at risk youth, or life just wasn't working through the traditional way. They basically live and they kind of learn the values and things, and these kids kind of learn how to be adults, but through all their various it's farming, but they do like confidence building things and stuff. It's really a program that really works at the heart of these children, and it has huge success. But anyway, it's a beautiful facility, and they just quietly do their thing each year, and they get some great support, but they could probably use more of it. But
well, I'll tell you, we took them on 12 years ago. My husband served on that board.
Yeah.
And we honor them at Christmas, Valentine, St. Patrick, and 4th of July.
Nice.
And I think the message that we would like to send to them is, number one, there are people out here that really care about you, and that you are important, and that you are special.
Yeah.
And I hope in doing what we do impart that information.
Yeah, and it's a great organization. And,
my goodness.
And I would even offer, if you are looking for places to get involved to support, Assurance Home is a great place to do that.
Right.
So if you want to get involved, come out to the Cowboy Prom and support
please.
that. That's a great way to support. And all you got to do is eat brisket and dance, and
we eat and then we work it off. we dance it off.
That's right. So don't just dance for the slow songs, bit the fast songs too, because you got to burn off some brisket. But
you're right, Mike.
But that'll be coming up September 16th. So
correct.
But you can call ahead right now and RSVP or be a sponsor or
please
RSVP to donate a silent auction item, something like that. 575-420-8455. Also, the Chaves County Federated Republican Women have a Facebook page.
We do.
If you type that sentence I just said, Chaves County Federated Republican Women, it should pop right up. You might be able to miss a word or two and still find it right there. But then you can like and follow and stay up to date on everything that goes on through the organization. Find out. You don't have to wait till the Wednesday before to find out who the guest speakers are and things.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate that. Absolutely, they can do that.
Yeah, and then of course, if you do want to get more involved and serve, and by the way, I say this every time, it is the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. Men are very welcome to be a part of it. It's kind of an auxiliary type role is for the men. But you can be actively involved and very much in part. Matter of fact, so ladies, if you're wanting to get involved, drag your spouse along. He can be a part of it too. So.
We would love to have them. We have about 35 associate members right now.
Good deal.
Yes.
Associate members. That's the term.
Yes,
I'm bad with terms.
That's okay.
I'm always calling board of directors presidents and things like that.
we would love to have the men join also.
Absolutely. They it's kind of. What's the saying about, the man's the head of the family, but the woman is the neck and turns the head to show it where it goes,
wow.
kind of thing.
Wow. I hadn't heard that, but you're right on.
That's a saying I remember hearing. Oh, yeah, the man's head of the family, but the woman's the neck, and she turns the head to tell her where it goes.
Wow. I'm going to remember that. I'm bringing that home with me.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, Hudson. I didn't mean to do that to you. But next week, 1 week from today, next Wednesday, what's that date?
It's the 19th.
The 19th. It'll be at the Roswell Convention Civic Center, as it always is. About 11:30, everything will get underway. Come a little early. Have you a nice cold-cut deli, salad, summer lunch, and then enjoy our district attorney, and also learn more about the state-level project that the Federated Republican Women are putting together and all that. So that's the topic for this next Wednesday.
It certainly is. Thank you, Mike.
Anytime. And then don't forget, if you want to get involved, reach out. You don't have to wait till come out Wednesday and talk, but you don't have to wait till next Wednesday. You can call or shoot a message this week and get involved in the Chaves County Federated. I guess to be a part of the Federated Republican Women in the main branch is you have to be a woman and a registered Republican, I guess.
18-year-old woman.
And 18, yes.
Registered Republican. Yes. As a matter of fact, I have a goal of 150 members this year.
Okay.
And as of today, I have 139.
Ooh, so we're a baker's dozen short of.
I would say, who's counting?
Yeah, right. But we're like when you see the United Way thermometer thing that's on the courthouse lawn every year. It's almost red except for that little top there. There's still patch of white there.
11 people to go.
Yeah. But come out Wednesday. Come reach out, shoot a message, and then one of the ladies will definitely reach back and get you any information you need. I think you'd be surprised when you come to a meeting and you're like, I didn't realize you were part of the chat. You'll see a lot of people you probably don't realize.
Last month we had 86 people at our meeting. Yeah. So
and
we're building.
We're still I know we got a big town feel, but we're still a small town. Everybody knows everybody. So I bet you're gonna meet a few people you already know when you're there.
It's true.
What else? Is there anything else we wanted to mention?
The only other thing I want to mention, another project that we have, we do deliver brand new dictionaries every year to every third grade student in Dexter, Hagerman, and Lake Arthur.
Nice.
And we do that in September, which is Literacy Month.
Okay.
And it's really interesting. It's to see these young people get a book and say, wow, this is mine.
Yeah.
And I have to mention that our representative, Candy Spencer-Zell, comes with us every year.
That's kind of her passion project.
It is her passion. And she teaches them how to use a dictionary.
How cool is that? Well, and that's those are the tools you give to kids that they can go. And this is the part that, at the end of the day, I don't think sometimes people don't realize. It's that these are the things you're equipping these children with to give them the foundation for whatever they want to do. I remember when I was a kid, they used to have little sayings like knowledge is power, and it's very true. You want to equip your children with the best way possible to navigate this world, educate them. Give them the tools so they can not just tell them how it's done, give them the tools to do it themselves and let them experience it. And to me, that's the dictionary. Yeah, you go to school to learn things, but now you give them a thing. And I know we live in the age of the internet and stuff, but when they're little, they shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff.
I love a book.
I'm sorry, a third grader should not have a Facebook account. But anyway. But what I mean is that's their first, you're giving them, it's like to teach a man to fish. You're not giving them fish, you're teaching them how to fish.
Absolutely.
And that's how you have a successful kid is not just give them the fish, show them how to get their own fish.
And I think, Mike, we've been doing this for over 40 years.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. So I bet the dictionary's got thicker over the years because they've added a few words.
Oh my goodness,
since
the
then.
dictionary we give has the name of every president, the name of your state bird, your state tree, your state flower.
And then they
There
add
is
so they add a new word every year or something, like a new word. So
I think they add a lot of new words.
So over the years, it's gotten a
every
little
year.
thicker.
It's a thick book.
So that means more volunteers needed to move the heavier books.
Oh my goodness, that we have to bring a cart.
Yeah, I imagine that's a lot of dictionaries. I'm curious. What's the resource there? Do you have a publishing company that gives you a deal to get all those dictionaries?
We do have a company that we've been dealing with for years, and we
Okay.
use that same company
Good.
every year.
And they kind of work with you on a cost and all
you're
that.
right. We need to start our children young
Mhm.
to recognize that there is an organization, the Republican Party,
Mhm.
out there that cares about them and wants to help them enhance themselves.
Absolutely. Getting, it's all about giving the kids the tools because in a world where misinformation's the greatest weapon, I really think it is sometimes. The best way to arm your kids is give them the tools to figure out what's good information and what's not good information.
Well, it's interesting. At the end of each time we deliver these dictionaries, Candy will say, I'm asking you to invite me to your graduation. So she has been to several graduations.
How cool is that?
These are third graders, and by the time they graduate 12th grade, Candy does attend their graduation.
Well, there's a reason why she's been representing us for a long time.
She's
and
wonderful.
She's good people, as they say.
She also serves on our board as basically our connection with Santa Fe.
She's at and she's a bulldog for us in Santa Fe.
Oh,
too.
she's wonderful.
That's I wish we had more of her.
She represents us well.
She absolutely does. So again, next Wednesday, 1 week from today, is the July's Chaves County Federated Republican Women monthly meeting. 11:30 at the convention center. RSVP by going. You can go to the Chaves County Federated Republican Women Facebook page.
Yes.
Shoot us, say, hey, I'd like to come to your meeting, me and plus one, and that way they know to have enough food for everybody.
Absolutely do
if
that.
If you space out and don't remember till Wednesday, no problem. Come on down. We'll work you in. But
we will find a seat for you.
If we can, we'll make sure there's enough cold cuts for you and all that. But if you do remember, please RSVP. It does make it a little easier on everybody from the staff that's got to prepare to making sure there's enough seats and things for everybody. They set up enough tables and everything for everybody. So.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
No problem. And, of course, if you're looking to get more involved, please shoot a message on that Facebook page or come out next Wednesday. Talk to any of the ladies. You'll spot them. They'll be floating around busy.
We'll wear name tags.
The other one's busy working while everyone's just sitting and eating.
We are. We're busy.
That's right. And then, like we said earlier here, if you got your third grade or students about to enter third grade, be on the lookout. Your dictionary's coming here in September.
They've been ordered.
Good deal. Excellent. And I ask this of parents. When your child, if you are having a child that's entering third grade and is going to be getting one of these, sit down and talk with your kid about it that night. Go over and show them the importance of that dictionary. And I know you guys are going to talk and Candy and all, but reinforce that when the kids get home. Encourage them to want to look at that book. And I'm not saying they have to learn a new word a day or anything, but use that book when they're reading or watching TV or on the internet and they hear a word they don't know. Go look it up.
You can tell my allergies are starting to kick in. Sorry about that.
I sympathize.
Thank you.
But please, this is what good parenting is follow up on that stuff. So
perfect.
Good deal. Joan, as always, appreciate the visit. We will see
Thank you, Mike, for having us every month.
Anytime.
We hear that people heard about the Chaves County Federated Republican Women through Mike in the Morning.
All right. I'm sorry. No, I was kidding. People are like, I listen to you all the time. I'm like, I really apologize. I didn't mean to, just kidding.
As a matter of fact, we picked up 2 members last month that heard you on the radio.
Oh, good.
So I thank you.
All right, I want to cut. Just kidding.
Okay.
I want to cut a nothing.
That's true.
No, I thank you. That does really nice, because at the end of the day, I just want people to hear stuff and let them think, that's something I want to do. Or I'm always, I have my own values and my own things, and they do come out on this show. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, I always want to just present what's here and let people think and decide for themselves. And, and if you want my opinion, I'll be happy to share it with you. But at the end of the day, I want you to do it for you and your
like
reasons.
minds, Mike.
Yep, there you go.
And we thank you every month for inviting us to be on your show.
Anytime, and if we need to do a little bit more because of special events or something that outside of the normal scope of things, please reach out. Be happy to help out.
Well, thank you.
Good deal. Well, stay cool.
Thank you.
Go back and hunker down into the ice room here.
I'll do that.
And then don't worry, no hot foods next Wednesday. All cold cuts and cold salads, and don't forget when you go to the Cowboy. I know we're talking. I'm jumping all over the place, but the Cowboy Prom in September. We were talking about the great food, the brisket, and everything Pepper's going to do, and you said dessert. They do that. I don't know what the desserts are. They never are. I think it's just whatever's available at the time.
We don't know.
Doesn't matter. I don't care what you like or don't like, because they get things that normally I'm like, I'm not touching that. There's fruit in it. I eat it and love it. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know, but it's good. So whatever Peppers puts at a dessert, just eat it. I don't care if you're like, ooh, it's got fruit on it. I don't. Just eat it. It's going to be good.
They're going to love it.
I'm telling you, as a person that is that person, ooh, it's got this on it. I'm not touching it.
We use them every time.
Yep. Just trust them and just put it in your mouth. You'll be happy you did.
Thank you, Peppers.
Absolutely. And by the way, congratulations. Last Friday, Leadership Roswell Alumni Association had their annual leadership banquet where they honor people in the community that were chosen as outstanding leaders and things. And this year they added a new category, and it was business. And Peppers was the first recipient of that leadership award. Adam and his family, the Rowe family, many, many, many years have been supporting Roswell and things. So they were honored with that the other night.
Wonderful people.
Probably long overdue.
Wonderful people.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Joan.
Thank you,
And
Mike.
we'll
You have a cool day.
You do the same.
Okay.
I wish.
A statement from Roswell Fire said one person had been directly exposed to the gas and was immediately taken through decontamination procedures. That person is doing okay today, thankfully. The material turned out to be what's called stomp sanitizer, consisting of hydrogen peroxide and peroxyacetic acid, which is very corrosive. It's used for cleaning the inside of the facility's containers. The container was allowed to vent completely empty, and no other injuries were reported. New Roswell Transit bus drivers will be hired on site during a hiring event for CDL drivers interested in joining the city's bus service roster of drivers, providing transportation to citizens and visitors to the community. The hiring event will be Tuesday, July 25th at Roswell City Hall from 2 to 4 p.m. The event will be held in the HR conference room on the top floor of City Hall. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and hot today. Our afternoon highs between 105 and 110. We do have a slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm. Overnight will be cloudy, mid-70s, and then between 105 and 108 for the highs on Friday, and we will get sunshine. Low 100s for the high on Saturday, and sunny on Sunday, and about 100. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
The Great One, Mark Lewis.